Hey everyone, welcome to Go Live, the Saturday evening talk show where we get all kinds of saucy. And Asa had a web browser up at the start. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. It's going to be an epic show. We have a debut first time entrant into the life of Source. And we also have a very nice fuzzy face. You're used to him. You know who he is. But before we do the intros, it is Go Live. I have to shout out to all the people who do listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast after the fact. Thank you so much for listening in and tuning in. I always promise not to scream, but as soon as the stream starts, I scream straight away. So apologies to all those who are listening and for your ears. And thank you so much for joining all of us, 130 people currently watching. Smash that like button. Hopefully you're all real people. And we're going to get into the Source. It's going to be an epic show. Epic show. Joining us again, it is the man. So nice. We had to invite him thrice. I don't even know how many times we invited you here, but it's been a few times. And thank you so much for coming on, man with the sexy beard. It's Wandering Dutch. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, guys. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Good. It's awesome to be here as usual. I'm looking forward to getting into the Source as always. And you know what it is? I always think sometimes when you invite me, it's because we have conflicting views on a lot of things, which is good because we have good debate. But
that's why we're here. This is not an echo chamber podcast. This is the one where we get dissenting opinions. It's always good to get a mix of views in these things. Otherwise, what's the point? We might as well stitch each other's mouths to the back ends and form a huge human centipede. That's not what we're about here. Sorry to disappoint. Isla. Isla's like, what? Why me? I don't know. So Isla saw Ghost My Gonads. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for all the mods in the chat. Thank you for all the members. I see. It's always lovely to see you guys in the chat. Last but certainly not least, it's a man who is very busy. It is. What, did I just swear? No. I meant to press this button to add some reverb, not the sensor one. It is Mike Wallace from Next Level Gaming, brother. How are you?
Thank you, guys. I'm so happy to finally be able to come and hang out with you guys. And again, I was expecting at some point to just hear, nah, you know what? Never mind. We'll be all right. After like the fourth time, I went, oh, could I push back another week?
No, it's all good, man. We want to make you feel comfortable, so.
Oh, you do. And I bring with me sauce from the motherland.
Oh, damn.
So I come prepared. It's not just hot sauce. This is Old Bay hot sauce. When you when you have crabs, you use this sauce.
Oh, wow.
don't worry about it.
Crabs and sauce. So I never knew those two went together, but I hope you're talking about the crustacean there. But I'll definitely try it one way or the other. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining, man. It's going to be a messy show.
It's okay.
It's going to be wicked, man. But before we start the whole proceedings, it is the man who is the silent killer. It's Asa, the co-founder and co-host. You thought I forgot you. How are you doing, sir?
I thought you had definitely forgotten me. It just like reoccurred in that last moment. I'm off form. There was this brief moment where I brought up Wandering Dutch's camera like this and I went, why has he got a French flag in the background? Just for a moment. And then I pieced it together. So that's my level today.
Yeah, are you going to take that, Dutch? Are you Oh.
This is blasphemy.
Wow. If that was me, I would have not gone off that lightly. Just Dutch is being nice because it's Ace. Wow. But shout out to the chat. We're going to get into some Source. People have been in my DMs like, you piece of better not be bad mouthing Xbox again. Yes, I will. No, I won't. We've done that topic to death. And we'll touch upon it briefly. But I know you guys are all sensitive folks, but not as sensitive as some other people. But it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a great show. This week, we've had, and you can probably tell from the title of the video, there are lots of news, big things happening in loads of different places. Recently, we talk about this whole consolidation thing, right? Well, funnily enough, Take-Two was one of the things we talked about on the show quite a lot. Talk about how they're up for grabs, and who do you remember when Colin Moriarty was losing his shit when there were rumors abound of Take-Two being gobbled up by Microsoft and GTA being the home of Xbox. That'd be crazy if GTA came to Xbox exclusively or anyone exclusively. Well, it seems like, and if you do check out GameOnDaily.com, you'd have figured out that it looks like, depends on how much weight you want to put into this, Take-Two are happy to be independent. They say, we like being an independent organization. It was the CEO, Strauss Zelnick, who said, we're a public company, we're here for the shareholders. That said, our track record for creating value as an independent enterprise is pretty terrific, especially if you exclude the last 3 months. We think there's plenty of great times ahead, and we like being an independent organization, but we're here for the shareholders. Not for the PlayStation. But what's the but? Mike, show me the but. Not your but, just your but. No, but just the but.
But we're here for the shareholders.
And that's
that's the ticket right there. Oh, we love it, the fact that we're independent. So did Bungie.
So did Bungie. So did Activision's shareholders. 98% of them, in fact.
Until someone comes along and pays them a handsome per share, and the shareholders have no choice but to say, "What are you doing?"
Exactly. So that's a very, very interesting addition there at the end of that.
It is, and so you can say we want to be independent all you want, but when you put that sentence in there, but we're here for the shareholders, you may as well have said we're open to being acquired. I'm just saying.
Well, Dutch, you're nodding there in agreement, maybe? What do you think about this? Do you think they're going to be up for grabs?
I think money talks, as always, in business.
Yes.
Shareholders specifically talk because shareholders are only there for the performance of shares.
Yeah.
If they can get 1.5 times or 2 times the cost of the share when they sell, and they know that they're not going to make that back in the long term. For instance, if you have a look at Bungie and the compensation they received for the company in terms of per staff, per head, it was way over what that was worth. If you have a look at even the performance of Activision, and the Activision staff, like you say, unanimously agreed, 98%. And you have a look at the cost per share that they paid for them as well. It was like, but it was really high months prior to that. It was high until they made their own problems that were long standing and probably wouldn't have recovered from it. So Microsoft made them a very handsome deal. And they said, yes, we will happily take that, because we don't think, which is part of the shareholder thing, is we don't think we're going to achieve that level again because of what is got. That's part of the thinking. Shareholders don't agree to something if they don't believe that their shares will not rebound to that level. So if someone comes in to Take-Two and says, listen, we're going to give you this, for instance, wild example, 2 times per share as to what you're currently paying. So for instance, if it's dollar share is $100 per share or something ridiculous, and someone says, right, we'll pay you $200 per share.
Yeah.
Of course, snap their hands off. Of course they are, because they're going to get an absolute fortune back in return.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's there for the shareholders, not for the players, for the shareholders, which is at least remarkably candid, no?
The shareholders are there to make money. That is their sole purpose for being invested in the company, is to make money. And if they can get out of that share with more money than they put in and lose the risk of something happening to Take-Two, say a year or two from now, they'll take it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely agree. Unless Acer has dissenting opinion. I never know with Acer. I have no idea what he thinks.
I'm generally on the side of common sense, so I'll go along with that. It's very, very similar to what Ubisoft said not many months ago, that they like being independent, but they'll entertain offers because they're publicly traded, and of course you're going to entertain offers if people give you enough money, then them shares are selling. Take-Two, you can say that they are serious when they say they like their independence. They very recently, relatively speaking, very recently spent an awful lot of packets of crisps to buy Zynga So they're definitely not like cutting the fat and setting themselves up for an acquisition, but they will definitely entertain offers. So. Not my favorite to add on that, but
potentially sweetening the deal, I would say as well. If you ask me, so if you're adding someone that's huge as Zynga and they're massive in the mobiles sector, that makes the deal even more sweeter for somebody who's trying to break into certain sectors.
Essentially, it also makes it more complicated because you're taking the option away from them. If somebody wanted Zynga and Take-Two, they could have got Zynga and Take-Two. So if they're sweetening the deal like that, it would probably be a mistake if they were looking to sell. Whereas you look at what Square Enix are doing, where they're getting rid of studios that people might not want. We like the Western studios, but you could say that they are streamlining potentially for an acquisition, or they could be streamlining for the sake of their business. That can go either way, but you can understand how that would be potentially setting up to be bought. Like, we've trimmed the fat by this lean bit of meat that is the good stuff. Take-Two are not. They're getting bigger still, so who would want them though? They've only got like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption and all that kind of stuff.
And I was going to say, like, GTA Online was done well, but if you have a look at that Red Dead Online community, they've may as well just left that for dead. It's gone. But they're just not bothering with it. So there's one half of the section, one half of a very important franchise is doing extremely well, and the other franchise, they're just outside of the campaign, which was critically acclaimed, one of the best kind of games ever made, and I think a lot of people will agree with that as well. With Red Dead Redemption 2. The online was just left in the dust, and they just don't bother with it. And you can say that for a lot of Take-Two franchises. There's a lot of franchises they've got that they don't bother doing anything with. But they've also mentioned they've got a healthy pipeline with a lot in the works. So I think the overall statement is, we're not really looking to sell because we've got a very optimistic pipeline of quite a lot of projects in the work and what we're doing, etc. But we are a shareholder company, and it's up to the shareholders.
Absolutely. It is up to the shareholders, like Mike, you suggested. It's up in the air. They made it very clear. That final bit of that statement is very telling. It's a time to consolidate this seller's market as far as game devs and publishers are concerned. So everyone's going to be eyeing them up. You've got big players making moves in the space. Some unknowns or some unlikely candidates, actually, I should say, not unknowns because of the scale. Speaking of which, big news, and this came from Jeff Keighley as well as Puck News. I don't know what the hell Puck News is, but really it was Electronic Arts. This would have been huge if this went through, but Electronic Arts was set to merge with NBC Universal, except the deal fell through in the last minute. But not only that, EA was deep in talks apparently with Disney, Apple, and Amazon. Look at those names. Disney, Apple, and Amazon. Apart from Amazon, that has tried and is trying to dip its toes into the gaming space. Apple and Disney, apart from, with its licenses and third-party deals, that's quite telling. This is where, and I know it sounds stupid every time I say it, but the metaverse narrative between corporates and big companies is coming in. The gaming is at the forefront of this whole talk. My headphones just did some Matrix weird sound. I thought I was going to be swallowed in as I swallowed the red pill. But no, so this is a big deal. And based on that, what Jeff Keighley said, we had, got a lot of people thinking. And Gene Park, I think he writes for Washington Post, he also said when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, this was the competition they were actually worried about outbidding them. It's happening. Talking about the fact that the EA merger is probably going to happen. You need big wallets for big EA after all. But this industry is not slowing down with its mergers and acquisitions and whatever, consolidation. It's huge. Asa, what did you think of this with the EA thing? Like, was that a big surprise to you?
It was definitely a surprise that NBC were looking at it, yeah. The other players in there, it's hard to know to what extent they spoke to them. They said, they also spoke to Disney and Amazon and all these, but it didn't say that conversation could have been, hey, are you looking to buy gaming companies? And Disney say, no, don't be silly. We just got rid of ours. Like, we're sending all of our IPs elsewhere for the last few years. Amazon, on the other hand, they're the ones that are an interesting player. Nobody knows what they're going to do and what their plans for gaming are. They obviously have some studios already, and they're pushing Luna, but not very hard. It's only available in the States, and the rest of us don't get to see it. Most of their gaming activity has just been like kind of experimental PC releases like New World, and a couple of things that they shut down. EA getting acquired though, I mean, probably better that they stay multi-platform than go to one of the platform holders, really. Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't know if an EA being bought out by one would benefit the industry. I think you're right. Yeah. I think I get your sentiments. What's your take on this, Mike? Like, this is it. This is another sign of consolidation. What do you think of the EA thing?
Well, NBC Universal in a way made sense, because if you look at AT&T Discovery, they're not getting rid of WB Games, so they want to stay in the space, and NBC sees that as a way to compete in that space. But we're forgetting one other company that it doesn't have to be a platform holder that comes in and makes a play, not just for EA, but I was thinking about this a moment ago for Take-Two. Don't forget about Embracer Group, who's been making some serious moves lately. And I could see them coming in and taking a shot at this. They have the market. They have the market cap to get it. They have, and they are a multi-platform continuous, company. You wouldn't lose anything by it.
But why EA Dutch? Why are they selling? Surely their titles do well. This is the thing: is why would EA be selling out?
It's hard to pinpoint why they'd be selling out, but I can tell you now, and this is just part in greed, another really greedy company, i.e. FIFA, wanting to renew the license for £500 million.
Oh, wow.
Which is why FIFA and EA said no. Which is now, obviously, now you have EA Sports FC, which is the new FIFA going forward. I think losing that FIFA license overall kind of takes a little bit of shine off the series, irrespective of the fact that FIFA as their tactic, their financial tactic was, we're going to charge them an arm and a leg for the licensing agreement for the foreseeable future. There is no competitor in that space in terms of football. I don't know who they're going to farm out the FIFA license to now. But eSports football or whatever it was, I don't know, eSoccer or whatever the hell.
Oh, eFootball, right?
That's the one. That terrible.
What happened to Pro Evo, man?
I don't know. It really depends. Do they see, or do they not see kind of future success with some of their IPs? They've had several really bad decisions recently with how certain games are made, i.e. looking at NFTs. Then you're looking into the way Battlefield was handled, and how poorly that's been handled going forward. They've removed 120 odd player the actual Battlefield.
Yeah, I saw that.
Reduced it down to 64.
What's happened with that? That means they haven't got enough players, or the bots are filling it in. What the hell's going on? It's embarrassing.
It is. It's obscene, and you can have a look at just the overall. I think it's the public perception of EA and their choices of games. Yeah. I think overall the people are just like, let's knock this out. Let's just ship this out and see if anyone's got any better ideas for these IPs going forward, because we don't have them anymore.
And that's the question: is that, does EA really have that killer stable that they used to? No FIFA license, and obviously the soccer, football soccer game can be successful without it. That's sure. But look at their string. I mean, Dutch, you hit it like on the head. Battlefield. They've lost the Star Wars license exclusivity. I'm willing to bet they're going to lose the American football license soon, because Madden is not the big cash cow it used to be either. As I think EA is losing a lot of cap as far as what their overall portfolio looks like. I mean, I don't when their big game is It Takes Two, that's a problem for a publishing company that size. And I think you're starting to see that they're looking at the future and going, maybe we're going to start getting boxed out by these other larger publishers. Maybe, with Microsoft picking up Activision Blizzard, and don't forget they still have Bethesda, ZeniMax, that they're not the big kid on the block anymore.
They're not.
There might be some writing on the wall.
Yeah. No, there may be. And also quite enticing with all this money flying around. Why wouldn't they want to sell if that's the time? Lots of people are dipping their toes. Lots of big Arab outfit bought, I don't know, some crazy percent of Nintendo. They're really, everyone's looking at it.
PIF. It was the same company who bought Newcastle.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Look crazy, man. Like, everyone's looking at this gaming space. Like, the moment Microsoft dipped $70 billion into this, everyone took notice. Like, yo, what the hell?
I was going to say, actually, on that note, guys, PIF, Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, they have actually set up an entire kind of a gaming division / company themselves.
Oh, wow.
That are investing
Yazal Habibi! Give me a joke.
So yeah, they're definitely looking at getting more and more into it as well. So I would probably say not only have you got Tencent and Embracer Group going forward, Embracer are more indie orientated for the most part, looking smaller acquisitions and help them grow. Tencent, on the other hand, are big acquisitions, and I think obviously with the backing of PIF, if they were to get heavily into the game, they could pretty much get whatever they want. But yeah, on that note as well, I would say it's, if you're going to look at any of them, again, Asa made a great point about Disney. They've shipped out all their stuff. They want nothing to do with actual development. What they want is people to look after their IPs who can develop it competently.
No, it's a great position to be in. Yeah.
Thankfully, Jedi Fallen Order pretty much saved EA from losing it entirely. If it wasn't
and Apex Legends, I see you, Amak. Come on, yeah. Apex Legends as well. 2 billion. Apex Legends, 2 billion generated.
I was going to say, from a Star Wars perspective, though, from a Disney IP perspective, if it wasn't for Jedi Fallen Order, I think Disney might have just completely removed the IP from EA entirely. And I think
even
EA
that had lukewarm reviews, didn't it? At the start, it's become like a darling for a lot of gaming fans, Dutch. But even when
Disney
I enjoyed it.
Disney themselves have actually got Carl Caster's lightsaber in Disney World now, in an actual replica model, so you can go and buy that. So they've actually taken it, and that was due to fan feedback. They asked who to bring in now as the next iconic lightsaber into the store, and Carl Kestis, a lightsaber went in there. So I think it's public opinion on Jedi Fallen Order. I think it's going to do really well. Thankfully, but again, that's another studio that was mistreated by EA for such a long time. And now
this is the thing. Yeah, they're shit handling of studios by EA. They really piss me off at what they've done. Have you seen their legacy of the graveyard of incredible talented studios that have died and IPs that have died? It's so annoying. So EA, someone buy them. Not
Microsoft, BioWare.
BioWare. There was it Westwood? That's still going. They made Command and Conquer.
God, right. Oh, wow. Westwood Studios. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's loads. Someone could mention names. It's like ridiculous. Respawn is their best studio. Zane Bashir in the chat. Yeah, and absolutely spot on. Yeah. So let me read the super chats. Ashes to Ashes, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, man. He goes, perfect timing cooking and was looking for some sauce. That's it. And if you have crabs, Mike has sauce for you too. Perfect for crabs. Shab's Inevitable, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. He goes, Acer seems like it's got a Boris Johnson moment with your hair. Fantastic panel. Is that like what? Your hair isn't so bad, is it? Nah, it's not so bad. Geordie, thank you for being a member for 4 months. He goes, top panel. Can I get... There's no fans. There you go. I don't even know if that auto-tune worked, but that's the you'll get. Thank you so much for supporting us, Geordie. That's you again. Crawby with a €5 super chat goes, I'm a GameOnDaily shareholder now. That's not how it works. We appreciate you anyway. You're part of the family. 99 Rugen, thank you for the $5 super chat. With the EA situation, with the Comcast fallout, has me wondering if Microsoft might be interested in Paramount, parents company, or someone else to add to Game Pass. I think every time someone talks about Microsoft buying anything, I just feel like it's a bit of a no-go because of they've got their hands full. I mean, they can barely manage their studios as no. I mean, the Activision Blizzard deal is pretty crazy. Like their hands full with that. No,
yeah. I think what could be happening, Gaz, is potentially some discussions in the background. You know how some of these deals work. Specifically, Activision. That discussion was 2 years. Like that wasn't overnight. So there could be some discussions to some companies. We know they're not finished because they've said it. So I think it's a case of just waiting and seeing, but it won't be anytime soon.
Yeah, it won't. Now, it won't. But on the acquisition talk, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but Microsoft have come out and said that the deal is moving fast. Now, when I say moving fast, it's just the wording is so silly. It's moving fast, at least it's fast enough for an acquisition of this size. One of us says it's a long process, and we're still at the stage where we're answering questions. For us, of course, the sooner it's done, the better. But yeah, it sounds like it's getting decent progress, but a lot of it's public facing. I think the FTC is going to really make Microsoft go through jumping some hoops there, and even for like publicity's sake. But yeah, no, absolutely, that's. I don't know. In this space, anyone who has predicted Activision has been, I mean, an acquisition has been wrong. It's been coming out left field. It goes to show that the insiders are all a bunch of idiots. They don't know. That's right, Special Nick. I'm just kidding. It's the Nick in the chat. Shout out to him. We are friends. But shout out to 300 plus people watching. Smash that like button. We're going to get into some source. Before we do that, let me read these super chats. Nadia Polymer, thank you for the 4x49. He goes, does Gaz have saucy Sonic teeth? What does that mean? I have no idea. But thank you, Nano. Hoggy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Because Embracer wouldn't actually be realistic. Wouldn't realistically be able to acquire Take-Two or EA. They're too small at around $8.5 billion. All right, fair enough. Didn't know that about but they're still they're quite mobile in the acquisition space. They got a crap ton of studios. Gamers Lord, thank you so much for the HRK 10. BioWare would fit nicely in the PlayStation family. Hope EA sells. BioWare and PlayStation, maybe. Could be. Well, we've got, what's it called? Knights of the Old Republic. Who's producing that?
That is, wait a minute.
It's not the Old Republic chat. Anyone know? I don't know.
Hold on.
I thought
it's on the tip of my tongue. Hang on. Saber.
Asper. Everything Asper.
Saber is joining that. Yeah, Asper and Saber. So
Asper and Saber.
Saber Interactive is joining development. That's the first thing.
Okay. Perfect.
But you're right.
Thank you, chat. Thank you. And Saber is supporting. Yeah, shout out to Purple Tree Frog and Sully and Gamefire and Amit Kumar and Anthony. Anthony says BioWare belongs to Microsoft. What? So yeah, Death Stranding 2. Now see, this is the one I want to talk about. Everyone was speculating the fact that Kojima's going to join Xbox, or he's going to not join Xbox, but work with Xbox to deliver an Xbox exclusive. And boom, out of nowhere, Norman Reedus just blurts out, "Oh yeah, we're working on the second one." What a terrible way to announce it. Just such a killjoy. I know with insiders like they love to chat and then they kind of ruin the surprise, but this one just kind of kills the bluster for it. Death Stranding 2. I haven't played the first one. I'll be honest with you, because remember, I'll tell you why I haven't played the first one. Me and Acer, EGX 2019, we queued up for how long to see the gameplay for this? Like an hour and a half. We thought, guys will join the queue. And I will remember that very clearly. Like, me and you were laughing. We were like, what? I was like, what the hell is this? They showed the gameplay off. And we have a couple behind us. Do you remember the woman's like, what is this? This looks shit. Did we wait for an hour and a half for this? She sounded just like this. And then they walked off. Loads of people came and went out. After waiting for an hour and a half, they couldn't sit for like 10, 15, however long it was. Did we sit the whole thing through? I think we did.
No, we didn't.
Did we not? Okay, fine. Well, that's how much I remember of it. But I hear so much conflicting things about this game. Like, I've had Mo says it's a great game. I have a friend called Jim. He says it's an incredible game, guys. You have to play it. And I look at it. I'm like, what's so good about it? Apart from the graphics and the rocks look nice, it just looks stupid. I've seen some of the acting and it looks bad, but I shouldn't write it off. But people say, spend 5 hours. After 5 hours, it becomes fun. So maybe there may be something here. But gents, the Dutch, have you played this game? Are you surprised there's a sequel? What do you think? Am I wrong? Is this game amazing? Am I being too judgmental?
I waited for this game because I'm much like everybody else. I was like, I am not spending 60. What it was on release, 60 on that. I am not. And PlayStation have this tendency to never reduce the price of their games, specifically first-party games, for a very long time. And I'm a person that I hate having stacks full of discs everywhere around the house. Like, I don't have enough space as it is, let alone have piles of discs. So I waited and waited, and then it came out on PC, and I got it on sale for £11. So wow. I was like, yes, I will play it now. So I went on, played it on PC, obviously the highest quality settings you can have for it, which is awesome. It is very slow on the uptake. I play using, thankfully, thanks to Steam, I play using the DualSense. So I can use that, I can use its features. However, God, it is slow. The story is semi-intriguing. The walking simulator part of it is actually more interesting than you'd think. The music on there is actually, the music is brilliant. Like, if there's one thing to take out of that game, is the soundtrack is an awesome soundtrack to the game. It does have an interesting premise, and you do, as the game goes on, start to get more weaponry in order to take on the BT, which is kind of essentially dead people. You are immune to dying compared to other people. If they die, they get sucked in, and it creates essentially an atom bomb field in an area, and wipes out entire cities. So if someone is going to die, you have to go and take their dead bodies to incinerate, as otherwise it creates essentially an atom bomb in that area.
Oh, that's quite crazy.
So yeah, that's
Kojima
why you
does
have
drugs.
to transport the dead
Kojima
bodies.
definitely does drugs, but yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why you have to transport the dead bodies, which is why you see him carrying like dead bodies on his back, because if you don't get them out of the city goes to dust. It just blows up. And that woman there is his sister, who's way across
don't give the whole plot away, because the game comes out on PlayStation Plus collection soon. I'm sure a lot of people are going to play it. So don't go through the whole plot.
This is the very
This
beginning.
is better marketing than there's trailers, to be honest. I'm actually finally a little bit intrigued based on what you've told me.
So the woman in the red is his sister, who's the opposite side of the map. And the whole premise of the story is essentially to connect these different cut-off locations. So imagine the entire planet's been in this disaster, i.e. war, which is what's happened. And you have small factions that don't want to reconnect it. Your job is to reconnect each of these locations back to the grid so that they can communicate and eventually try to get humanity back on track. The whole premise of walking things back and forwards is actually resupplying locations. So, for instance, you might be taking them
actually Amazon
locations or weapons or whatever, and each of those provide you with upgrades. So, you might get like grenades or something like that help deter bosses and enemies. It's definitely different, but it's the issue a lot of people I think will have with it is it's so slow on the uptake, so slow, and if you've got finite time to really get into it.
Yeah, time I don't have anymore. Did you finish it?
I didn't finish it. No, I'm still part way through it. And it's one again. If something isn't, it's a good game, but it's not a game that makes you want to keep playing it. That's in my perspective, anyway. For me, I didn't want to. Like, I wasn't dying to come in from work and then jump straight back on Death Stranding. Whereas, and people get that, you'll have that certain game where you've just, like, with people with Elden Ring, they'd come in and be like straight on Elden Ring, and you're like, right, okay, we'll just keep playing it. And
that's a good shout.
I didn't have that with Death Stranding. And I played Elden Ring for a substantial amount of time before I stopped playing that as well.
Yeah,
so
no,
I had
absolutely.
that moment at least. But yeah, it's the fact that he's announced that in a conversation that the second one's coming out. But more to your point as well, though, guys, I think on Kojima, for the first time in his studio's kind of history, he's not working on a singular project. He has multiple. So he's got his obligations with Sony. I know he's also got a project that he's working that is multi-platform. And of course, we know about the project that he's got with Microsoft. So I think his studio, and he put a post up as well today stating that he needs a director, he needs an artist, he needs this, that, and the other. There's about 30, 40 open positions or something at the studio.
Oh, wow. Kojima Productions expanding.
Yeah. So
that could be potentially 3 projects on the go.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he's got a Death Stranding sequel to me. Crazy, because I didn't think the PC side of things was making things a little bit more viable. But yeah, that's
100%.
interesting. Yeah.
100%.
Mike,
I think
did you play Amazon Delivery Simulator?
Yeah, I was going to say I think the community on that is helping that game. If you have a look at the Death Stranding community, it is quite a decent community there as well.
It has a community feature as well, doesn't it? With helping people, guide people, upvote, like kind of like
building bridges, putting ropes in between areas to help them get from point A to point B, building roads so people can access areas easier than climbing up a mountain, like a sheer face mountain. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, fair enough. Mike, have you played this delivery simulator? Nope.
No.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
The problem I have is whenever you start out by saying you really need about 5 to 7 hours before the game really gets good, that's a red flag for me. I don't have that kind of time to get into a game to kind of have it trudge along until it gets good. And I've played games like that then I don't finish because by the time it gets good, and I honestly, I'll give you another one that was like that, was Metro, was it the last Metro game?
Exodus?
Exodus.
Exodus. That thing slogged on for a good 10 to 12 hours before it started to really pick up. And by the time it picked up, it was the end of the game. Otherwise, and so I try not to get into those if I can, because I play games to enjoy them. Right? I don't play games to just walk around. I could go outside. I could go outside and walk around. I want to do things. And what really got me about Death Stranding was, if you guys remember the initial trailer. It's gonna be like a little mini rant. Let me hold on to this for a second. If you remember the initial trailer had this crazy, I have to put on these goggles to see the monster that was under the ground, and you got to be really quiet. You can't move, otherwise you're gonna get eaten. And I was like,
amazing.
okay, right. I was like, okay, so this is some sort of horror type game, and no, it's the movie 2001 without the space part. I just couldn't get into it. Now, seeing as though I'm probably going to get one of the upper tiers of PlayStation Plus that's in there, I will probably try it, but it's nothing that I would pay money for. And if I don't understand why there's a second game coming. I don't remember the first game having legs.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought it out on PC and it didn't have legs either. I mean, who's funding this?
Yeah, it must be enough of a market for people to buy it. I mean, Asa, what's your take on Death Stranding 2?
sold reasonably well. Obviously, well enough. I mean, I'm assuming that Sony have put a bunch of money in because they will, as they own the IP. So they own the IP and they're going to publish it at least on the PlayStation, possibly on the PC as well now, because things have changed in that regard. I don't think Sony published the PC version of the first Death Stranding. They used a different partner for that. I haven't played Death Stranding. I'm going to. It's going to be free soon. Well, not free, but included in the PlayStation Plus collection. So I will have a crack at it then. 5 hours is the kind of time where I hope a game is over myself. So it's like, give me a good game in 5 hours. If it's done by then and I loved it, fantastic. If it's just getting started in 5 hours, it's going to be hard to fit it in. Stream it? No, I will not stream it. No. But yeah, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play the first one, and if the first one doesn't manage to hold my attention, question is, would I then buy the second one, or would I wait a couple of years to play that one on a subscription
Depends how much you enjoy the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do want to play it. I've heard so many dissenting opinions. I don't want to be that guy who writes it off without even trying it. I mean, Red Dead Redemption, for instance, there's so many games to play. But yeah, that doesn't mean I shouldn't be allowed to be disappointed about Starfield. Yeah, because someone else said that. But backlogs aside, that a game like that, I have to play it. I stopped being an arse. I have to play it because I thought I wouldn't like Red Dead Redemption. I absolutely loved it.
Like everybody else, like I did, waited for it to be that unbelievably low price to go, right, I'll try it. Yeah. And then I'm not. It's £11. Like, oh no. I don't mind losing. But 60. Like I would have been pretty unhappy with that. Yeah.
Just for clarity, the thing that me and Gaz went and saw at EGX, it was a gameplay segment. I think it was Kojima playing with a translator narrating over the top of it.
Yeah.
And it was the most tedious, awful, boring gameplay segment they could have shown you. It was literally the walking stuff. Like, oh, look, I'm going to fall down a hill. No, I didn't fall down the hill. I'm going to walk. There's a ladder. I'm going to walk. And we were just, everyone in there was like...
Yeah, everyone was like that.
Any monsters or anything like that? Or how that
They showed the boss battle.
Eventually it got to one,
they showed the big boss battle, some ink thing in some massive floody space, and some vehicle combat, which looks very generic, with the people fighting people, and the little Wall-E robot thing just going crazy.
I feel like it would have been better with ragdoll physics.
Yeah.
Mike's being serious there.
Well, this is where the chat hate might come in, but I had a similar experience with Red Dead Redemption 2. I played about 4 or 5 hours of that, and I'm like, okay, I can't hold A for horse anymore. I'm done. Like
I see.
That whole thank you. That whole first couple hours of just like walking your horse around in the frickin' snow, and I'm like, this can't be all there is to it.
I loved it. I thought the slow, janky, real toughy slow controls were really great at me, but I was turning cinematic camera view on and actually listening to this incredible voice acting. You don't even hear good voice acting like this in movies, and Rockstar did it so effortlessly. They was churning through. Still need to play it. I don't have enough time anymore, but I need to make time to play this. It's such a good game, but I can 100% see like why people wouldn't enjoy it. Like part of me shouldn't enjoy it because it goes against everything I like in games. Smooth, fast movement play. My favorite games like Apex Legends or Titanfall. It's all about traversal. Mirror's Edge, even to another degree. It's all about traversal for me. But that game.
Old A to ride horse is traversal. That's fine.
Yeah. That's a kind of traversal. Very
horse traversal. That would be something. I'd play that.
Well, maybe then that means the Xbox game is coming. A lot of people were coming after Jeff Grubb for saying, oh, I thought you said this definitely in the works. Well, it doesn't mean it's not in the works. But as Dutch, you've said, the people they're expanding. They're working on multiple projects. I do hope it's true. I also think that Xbox really is under pressure now to deliver this showcase event, and what you might get as a result to tide you over, because I have a feeling that they don't have that much gameplay to show as much as they would like. And it may be the case that this Starfield gameplay thing might have scaled down a bit, the showing. So they might use that opportunity to say, hey, look, Kojima, he's working with us. That'd be big. That'd be huge. That'd be massive. So yeah. Spartan Ghost 17, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Phil needs Suge Knight and Birdman to ride the development relative of Suge Knight. Now let me go feats up Jason Schreier's tears as the acquisition moves forward. Spartan Ghost, what are you doing, man? Killing me. HRK 10 from Games Lord. Thank you so much, BioWare Storytellers. Jim Ryan describes PlayStation as such. I see what you're saying. Xbox can... maybe, I don't know. We need some good story games on Xbox. Flame, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I'm so happy Kojima isn't making a game for Xbox. He's a waste of money. Let him keep draining PlayStation's wallets. Stop the cat. He's a hack. I would not agree with that. That's quite strongly worded. You're allowed to say strongly worded stuff. I'm not hating you for saying that. I just think he's an acquired taste. That's very diplomatic of me, isn't it? No, but genuinely, I think he's different.
There's one thing you can say about Kojima, though, I would say overall, is that he's one of the very few AAA developers and of that is left that isn't scared to do something different.
Well said.
Yep.
Very well said. In fact, as you were talking, that it was there was a really good content creator who stopped making videos. Ranton, I don't know if you guys know him. He's so good. And he was saying, if you don't like this game, you don't get it. It's a work of art. But I'm like, okay, jury's out on that one. But he did say this point, exactly what you said. There are not many people out there who take those risks. I'm happy to take those risks. I'm happy to take magic mushrooms to enjoy this game. I will do whatever it takes, but I respect the craft. Mike, you take magic mushroom. I mean, sorry, you were about to say something else. What were you saying?
No, I mean, there's no doubt that from a personality standpoint, from a where you are in the industry standpoint, the man is heralded as a legend. Do I herald him as a legend? No, I would not say he's a hack. No shot at that. Would I say I believe he is probably a hair bit overrated? Yes. I think he hung his hat on Metal Gear. I don't think he is as great of a developer as everybody puts him on the pedestal at, but he's definitely a heavyweight in the industry, and you have to recognize that. You can't 100%. If he was a hack, nobody would be going after him to do these games like Sony. If this with Microsoft is still happening, Microsoft's not going and getting into a deal with him to make a game for Xbox if he's a hack.
Yeah. Rain in the chat goes, what's a Kojima? You know who damn well we're talking about. I agree with you, Mike. I think a lot of his works are overrated, but Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and I haven't played 3, but to completion. But Metal Gear Solid 1 is ranked in my top 5 of all time. Zone of Enders was amazing. I thought it was really underrated. But I think the last Metal Gear Solid was so overrated. It hurt.
And
overhyped. So overrated. Overhyped like mad. What do you think about Kojima? Oh, sorry, Mike.
I go back as far as Snatcher for the Sega CD to show my age a little bit. And those were, that's him at his best.
Okay. I haven't heard of Snatcher, but
it's a very Kojima game. It was one of his first, and it was really one of his first.
Okay, fair enough. No, I respect the man. I respect the craft. Asa, what do you think of Kojima's games? Are you a fan?
You know me in stealth games, so Metal Gear.
Oh yeah.
I played the first one, not the first Metal Gear. The first Metal Gear Solid I played, and it was a stealth game, so I wasn't a massive fan, and I didn't put myself through the rest of them. But that's me. Like, that's not a criticism of the
yeah.
games as such, I just don't like stealth games. Like I've said before, I'm so good at stealth in real life. The games just don't satisfy it for me. So no,
Yeah,
I am very curious about the game they're supposed to have in the works, particularly the Xbox side. And this isn't like a console bias, but as projects go, it being this cloud native potentially project, I'm quite interested to see what he's doing there, because the Death Stranding had, despite being a single player game, it had a big push into like online connectivity and so on. And I'm very curious to see where he goes next with that. And I'm going to play Death Stranding one day, like, on this PlayStation Plus connection, and maybe I'll love it. So
yeah,
I'm not playing it stealthy though.
I think it might be stealthy. Shout out to 370 people watching. Smash the like button. We're gonna get saucy. Before we do that, Shab's Inevitable, the £2 super chat goes, Death Stranding is Amazon Simulator. It's the reason why I haven't played Shab's, because I looks the same. Spot and Ghost 17 with a £2 super chat. Thank you. He goes, Death Stranding is a postman sim for dead bodies. Wow. Argy Jenny with the $5 super chat. Kojima said that Death Stranding sold over 5 million copies in 2021. That includes both PlayStation and PC. That's pretty good for most games. Question is, will 2 be multiplat start? I don't think so, Asa. You said
No.
it's only on the IP, right?
It's only on the IP, so I'd be surprised if it is day and date on PC, but Kojima can make demands.
And Sony may be playing into those demands without much resistance, because that's a good segue into the next thing, which I was going to bring up if I brought my tweet, because I'm just refreshed it. It's gone. Where is it gone? There it is. I found it. Calm down, guys. Sony CEO Kenishiro Yoshida said that the company's planned acquisition of Bungie represents a major step in becoming more multi-platform. If these words were uttered last generation by any Sony exec, there would have been riots in the streets. But this is big. It's something they've announced. Or is it big? I think it's huge. I think that's a big signal into like a bat signal. There it is. That's their intention. Dutch, talk to me, bruh. This is it. PlayStation's models going out the toilet. This is it. Multi-platform. Why would he go out of his way to say that? It represents a major step becoming more multi-platform. You want to make money, man? Forget your notions of exclusivity. We'll still make the source. I don't care what it is. I will console war till there are no consoles. But Dutch, talk to me.
Yeah, it's you know what it is. It's, and this is when everyone was laughing. You have a look back at the we talk about the fanboys again, but if you have a look back at them and making fun of Microsoft for looking at being multi-platform and looking at ways of getting more people into gaming. This is not to say that every Sony IP is going to go to Xbox, because obviously that's not going to be the case. But yeah, it's going to be a much bigger push, and we said it substantial amounts of time now that it will come a point sooner rather than later that games will release day and date on PC along with PlayStation. And that is the focus going forward. It's probably not going to be in the next 6 months, but it probably within the next 18 months. I would say day and date.
I would think it would be silly for them to do that. I think it would be silly for PlayStation to do that. Do you know why? Because I think if PlayStation is... Look, they can't bite on the hand that feeds them, which is PlayStation. And they have the silicon shortage, and they're not getting the consoles out in the wild. They can double dip with stalled PC games. I don't think they should do day and date. They can do it day and... Pretty much, not day and date. Have a PC release.
At the same time, there is no data to back up the claim that they would lose sales by putting it on PC.
I don't know about that. I have no retort to that. If they can maintain the same sales on PC,
it's not about the sales.
It's a wildly different market, and you tend to find the people that have consoles and PC end up double dipping anyway. And I'm going to have to shout out Solid Rev on this one, because he's a prime example. Solid Rev buys most games on his PC and his Xbox, and sometimes his PlayStation as well, and just triple dips, double dips. But there are the vast majority of PC players that do love to play games like that end up double dipping, or vice versa.
He also Solid Rev injects cow testosterone in his neck for breakfast. He's a very special guy.
But okay, if we're going for like real fringe cases, I've double dipped on a few PlayStation games, and I definitely wouldn't have if they'd been day and date. I double dipped because of that delay in release window. You get the PlayStation version, and then you get the better version a year later or whatever. So they'd lose a lot of double dipping in that sense. But also, it's not so much important that the sales of their games. Obviously, the sales of their games are important, but that's not what's key to. That's not the reason they're exclusive at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's common sense again. If you release them on more platforms, direct sales are going to be higher, but they're using them to lure people into the PlayStation ecosystem. So it's a big paradigm shift to start doing day and date on the PC, where yes, they won't lose sales of the games, but they will definitely lose some PlayStation 5 hardware and ecosystem sales. They're just
That's my impression.
I would say it's this. The difficult part about that is that the buy-in for PC is greatly higher than the buy-in for a console. So, for instance, for those who have absolutely no intent on buying the console anyway, and they already have a PC, then
why
of
would
course they're
they
going to buy it
do
on
it
PC
day and
first.
date for those people though? Those people are just going to buy it a year later, right?
Yeah, that's true. If it's a
Why
smaller
not?
piece,
But those who don't have the financial capabilities to buy a PC, for instance, then they're not going to lose sales out to them, and they're not going to go out of their way to go and get a PC to go and get that game. They'll just get a PlayStation. And I think going forward, yes, they've got chip shortages currently, but there's still 19 million plus consoles out there, and still tracking above where PlayStation 4 was, as it stands so far. So I don't think they'd lose sales at this point. I think they've got themselves now in a position where they can look to that stage, and I think they will in the future. I don't think it would result in any effects to sales on long term. I think if you have a look at it side by side, you'd probably end up saying the vast majority of their console players, because the PlayStation, we have to look at it, and I look at PlayStation as a company based on a common household name. It is a name that's been around since essentially the dawn of gaming, console gaming in the house, the casual gaming market. Nintendo and Sega set that off really in properly in the homes with the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive and things like that.
the Genesis. Right.
But then PlayStation with the PlayStation 1, I think, really set that ball rolling to gaming in the living room. And I think because of their name synonymous with that, and we have to look at it on the worldwide stage, although the PC market is vast and there's a lot of PC players, the median kind of, should we say, targets for playing some of these games are a lot higher, and that is when you start diluting that kind of player base further in. You're probably talking about maybe 15% of the entire gaming ecosystem has got a rig capable of playing these modern games.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It'll be even lower. That said, though, like I say, I think it's PlayStation's name alone will keep it going for a very long time, specifically in the household, specifically in the living room. They're too big of a name for it not to continue to sell console units and sell games for its console units.
Yeah. That's a good point. Can't discount the PlayStation name. It has value alone. It is a brand name. What movie is that? It is a brand.
Apple might not produce the best phones, but they are the name. They are the name, and the name matters for something because people think of Apple and they think it's an attractive brand, should we say? It's something you can say, oh well, I've got this, I've got an Apple, or I've got. When you say PlayStation, everyone knows what PlayStation is. It's that name brand, it's that association. So it's never. I don't think it would affect it. I think it would only improve it.
Okay, fair enough. I don't have any strong feelings either way. I don't have any data to back up saying that would hurt. Just the impression I get that it would, but still, money is important. You've had Sony CEO say it. Who am I to downplay that? Unless that was just focused on Bungie. What's your take on this, Mike? Do you think we're going to see more PlayStation games on PC day and date?
I think that it's possible. I think that, and I want to say this without, I mean, I look at this kind of, I step back and I look at all the things that Sony ever does when it comes to those kind of decisions. And I mean, the truth of the matter is they tend to wait and see how Microsoft tends to jump into these things, right? They've been doing the day and date, they've been doing the games in their subscription service, and Sony sits back and waits and sees how reaction to that happens. If it's something that reacts well, they'll assimilate that into their business plan. It's how they started charging for online gaming, at the start of the PS4 generation, and it's something that I think they see. It hasn't hurt Xbox sales. I mean, Microsoft is posting its highest Xbox sales numbers ever, and their games are. I mean, you could get Halo Infinite on day one on PC, cross-play with the Xbox. I mean, not only can you get it, but you don't even have to double dip to play against people on that. They have mastered the ecosystem. I think that Sony sees that, and maybe the PlayStation division doesn't see it because Jim Ryan continues to talk about why games aren't going to go into PlayStation Plus day and date and that kind of thing. But people up the ladder, people that are looking at it.
Jim Ryan has said he's espoused his frustration the fact that the PlayStation's experiences are actually locked into the console. That's quite.
This is true.
You didn't need to say that. Yeah.
This is true. You're right. But the guys up at the top of the chain in Sony, not necessarily in the PlayStation division, they look at the PlayStation as a division of their whole, and they see that there is there's a potential to widen their revenue base by allowing people on other platforms to buy their games, most notably PC. The question that I have is, does multi-platform mean Xbox and Switch, or does multi-platform mean PC and mobile? Because that's still something that I don't think, outside of Destiny, because Bungie had it to begin with, and MLB The Show because Major League Baseball required it, I don't think that particularly means that the next Last of Us game is going to be on an Xbox platform. I don't think that I don't believe that they're going to go that route. I think when they talk multi-platform, they are strictly talking about PC and mobile.
Yeah,
I think
so
could be.
too.
I was going to say to add to that, I think it's going to be on a case-by-case basis for them. Like you mentioned, MLB. But it could come a point in the future, for instance, with Wolverine, which is an IP they don't own. It could be a point in the future, for instance, that they think there's another revenue market that we could have here that we don't currently have access to, and that is the Xbox. And releasing an IP, for instance, one that they don't own, that they could negotiate with, and they can negotiate it. You've got to have, like Destiny, they're going to get every bit of the revenue from Xbox players. Of course they are.
Yeah.
They're going to get a large slice of that money. And if they think financially it's going to benefit them, and we've got to think of it as a business, not from the consumer point, from a business perspective, there's going to be some small segments. There's not all of them. Like you mentioned, the God of Wars, the original Spider-Mans, that's not going anywhere. None of them big first-party titles are going anywhere. But these other...
apart from PC,
littler ones, these other littler ones that you look at and you think, I could see, and I don't say Wolverine's little. I mean, it's an IP that they don't themselves own, that they've been entrusted with. We've seen what happens with the Star Wars IP. I was exclusive to a particular developer for years, and then even MLB, where it was the MLB at the end of the day that went, no, I want to be on Xbox. I don't like. I know you're developing it, but we want this to be in everybody's hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Including Switch. Remember this, right? Yeah. This first year MLB is actually on Switch as well.
Yeah.
So I think Sony have an internal policy. I think they have an internal policy never to mention Xbox or Nintendo. Like literally, if you ever see any of their financial results or anything formal like that, and they're talking about these other consoles, they're like competing platforms. That's really lovely.
It is a weird thing. It is still a weird thing to fire up MLB on an Xbox on my Series X and see the PlayStation Studios logo come up in all its glory at the very beginning. That is still kind of. It's going to be funny to see what shows up when Call of Duty comes. When Call of Duty starts
if it goes
out.
through. But yeah, like Microsoft. Games studios. They're used to it with Minecraft, I guess.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. And they did put Minecraft Dungeons on PlayStation and Switch. So that's a good point.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not too alien. We've already had King David's video of him booting up MLB The Show on his Xbox and showing, "Hey, what's going on here?" Which I loved. I love King David for his energy. But yeah, no, look, it's interesting. I think we'll definitely the sea is changing, man. Bungie, you're gonna see PlayStation's logos again on Xbox. I don't know if you see them now, but probably do. I don't know.
But you mentioned the scene changing as well. I think one of the things we've got to think of here is this. I think personally there has been discussions between, and maybe even as far as through Nintendo, but there has been discussions with PlayStation hierarchy, Xbox hierarchy, and I'll let you get that because that's big.
What the flip? You didn't need to do that, but that's really sorry to interrupt you there. Dutch,
shit.
No, go for it. I know TJ. I had a word with him about this yesterday. Go on. Shout him out.
My God. Don't TJ. Yeah, this is what happens when Xbox has no games. That people spend it on chat. No, draw TJ. Thank you very much for the very generous $200 super chat. Because I'm going to be messy. If EA doesn't take any offers, I see Microsoft buying EA as the last publisher. They have the money. No, you have the money. Plus, it would help the core studios Criterion and Codemasters can help Forza games. Plus, it would save the IPs. This would be after the deal. Happy birthday, guys. I'll allow the happy birthday, even though it's not my birthday, but draw day. That's a very, very generous $200 super chat. Thank you so much for that. And for everyone who super chat, that's lovely of you. So speaking of Criterion, I think I did a video on, talking about what that would mean for races actually as well, and bring back some of the gold, get Project Gotham and blood. Oh shit. But sorry, I digress. Anyway, Drawn TJ, thank you so much for that. That was blinding red that interrupted me. And for everyone in super chats, please, thank you so much. But I'm really sorry, Wandering Dutch. My face was like, what? What's going on today? But yeah, go for it. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say that it's the discussions they've had as well, I would think, and Phil Spencer's mentioned it, but I think they're kind of alluding to things like that as well, is with not just the acquisitions, but the space is changing dramatically, and they're not just talking about the three big hitters, the Nintendos, the PlayStations, and the Xboxes. They're talking outside of that now, your Tencents, your Embracers, your Amazons, your Googles, your Apples. And Phil Spencer's mentioned this before with regards to certain companies and certain IPs. Like, we're going to be looking to try and retain as many of this stuff within our group, really, as possible. And by our group, I think he means the three kingpins of the gaming sector, which is your Nintendos, your PlayStations, and your Xboxes. And I think that's kind of where these three companies are going for now. I think as long as they're keeping it within that and not letting some of these staple franchises and staple games, etc., outside of that and going into the hands of the likes of Tencent, for instance, where you don't know about what its future could hold. Whereas keeping it in-house and within this certain community that is already strong, your big staple three, you've got to get a bit more certainty as to where these IPs will go and they'll at least be on these platforms going forwards and stay alive. So I think they're probably working together in some respects to ensure kind of certain titles, certain games are going to be on certain multiple platforms in order to have that greater reach. Definitely.
I think that's the smart, pragmatic play going forward. The game industry is changing as we know it, especially this gen. And people are saying it. The express statements are there. So I don't see anything different. Asa, do you want anything to add to Sony's strat here? What do you think? Is King David going to win that bet?
About there being a PlayStation 6, that one's actually really difficult to call at the moment.
Really?
People, yeah, it is difficult to call because this generation is likely to last quite a long time. And console hardware is going to become less and less important over time. I think we will get another PlayStation. But in terms of where their games are going, I don't think Wandering Dutch is right. Only 18 months. I think it will take longer. But I think eventually the industry is moving. The hardware in front of, underneath your TV is becoming less and less important over time. And it's been that. What's always surprising me is how slow the process is. Because you could identify this was happening 10 years ago. 5 years' time, it's going to be completely different. And actually, it isn't. 5 years' time, it's going to be completely different. It still kind of isn't. So these things are actually taking longer than a lot of people anticipated. I think Sony are going to cling on to the traditional console ecosystem for as long as they can. They're going to keep an eye on what Nintendo are doing. Nintendo have their own problems. They're doing very, very well with that console ecosystem at the moment. But at some point, they're going to need to hard reset with the new console. So
they've said it themselves. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a funny thing because both PlayStation and Xbox, this same conundrum hit them hard in the face in the 360 PS3 era. And that's why that generation went on for 8 years and it was too long. But none of them wanted that hard reset from 80 million down to 0. And now Nintendo are going, we should have done the whole x86 thing as well. This is difficult now. So it's a problem that they've got ahead of them. And the industry will change, but I think it's just going to be a while before Sony start putting the likes of God of War and Last of Us day and date anywhere besides PlayStation.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's
the missed super chat. So we got blown away by a $200 one, so thank you very much for that one. But just before that, we did have Lancelot C as well, with another super chat saying top tier quality, loved the content, also found your channel recently, amazing stuff. Just you wait, there's loads more coming, but thank you very much. And yeah, if there are other ones,
I was about to read those. There's loads we haven't read. Lancelot, he's new to the channel as well. Glad you enjoy the content. Thank you so much for the super chat. All the super chats, all of them. Spartan Ghost, thank you so much for the £5 super, because Death Stranding is like... Why am I reading these? Death Stranding is like poutine dish, all hype, no substance. You'll have a better time actually delivering packages to the Lake District barefooted. That's a UK reference there. Thank you for that. Flame, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Doubling down on Kojima hate. Best game Kojima made was Revengeance, made by Platinum. Wow. That actually wasn't a bad game. Obviously, Kojima didn't work on that, but that was a good game. I think that just sort of going on a side, I felt like that engine went to waste because they actually modeled bits of 3D bits of things. You could cut humans in half, you could cut melons in any angle. They were all they had the textures inside. That's a lot of work went into that. Good game. Crazy, batshit crazy boss endings and dialogue and story. But yeah, Shab's inevitable, the £2 super because oh wow, sorry, I misread that. That's a Death Stranding bloody stream key. Shabs, he's taking on the role. He's changing to Hoggy. Thank you so much for that. Very, very generous of you, Shabs. I don't know what to say. I don't know. You guys are too nice. Lancelot, we've already read a super chat. I was going to read it, but thank you so much. Again, it's nice to see new faces who are enjoying the content as well. It's really nice to see. And Drawn TJ again with a $5 super. She goes, love you guys. Keep up the great content, everyone. Hit the like button. Yes, please do. Drawn TJ, thank you so much, man. I know we speak at DMs and stuff, but still, man, it's just crazy. Crazy to spend that much money. But everyone's super chat's great. Everyone in chat, when super chatting or not, we love you here. Thank you just joining and enjoying. I hope you're having a good time. Especially you two guests. We've still got a lot of topics to talk about. It wasn't so bad considering I was just scrambling, but there's so much news here. I want to talk about a game. Asa says to me, Gaz, we always talk about this topical political stuff, not political stuff, but you know what I mean. Why don't we talk more about games? And we're going to do that with a show, which I'm not going to divulge too much. It's quite far in the works. Something very ambitious. No one is doing it. Yeah, content creators. I'm just kidding. But no, something very ambitious. But when we do want to talk about games, Gaz is describing the fruit physics. Yes, I am, Game Punisher. think Punisher's being messy. It's calling me a pony. But yeah, this is a game that's going to jump in on the bandwagon of Smash Bros. It's a game that I think could do really well. It's called Multiverses. I think it's called Multiverses. It's called Multiverses. Ace is nodding. It's called Multiverses, which is a great name, but not so great name. But it's jumping on the bandwagon, and it's look at the characters. It's Warner Brothers all suite of dankness. You've got Batman, and well, I'm gonna let it play. I just want to take your thoughts on it because we had Nickelodeon do it, and I haven't played the game. I love Invader Zim. I love my cartoons, man. It's like I love that old school stuff. But is this going to be good? I have a feeling it might, but we haven't seen any gameplay. Dutch, talk to me before I keep rambling on about this game called Multiverses.
There's going to be. I think it could sell well. I am not that market. Put it that way. I am not that market.
You just made noises there for like 30 seconds.
I am not that market at all. No, it's not. It's not for me. I'm not even a huge Smash Bros fan, to be honest. Like, I understand people like that kind of party game because Smash Bros is a party game. At the end of the day, it's not really a fighter. It's not your Street Fighter. It's not your Tekken. It's not something that requires ultimate amount of skill. It's just do not die and fall off the edge. Is essentially the the be all and end all. And if you can stay up there and knock other people off, that's the winner. So but there's going to be a market. It depends. It's suffice to say how many of the Warner Brother IPs are going to get involved in this, and DC IPs. I know Wonder Woman's been tagged in under the post as well, so there's bound to get some Wonder Woman in there as well. But it depends really. I wouldn't be surprised if it was successful because you have a look at the games like Among Us, if you have a look at Fall Guys, if you have a look at Humans Fall Flat, for instance, all these games that you would look on the face of things and think, really?
Yeah.
But then they do extremely well, and there's a massive community, and people play them for community game nights and have fun, and I think that's the target audience here. I think it's an audience for nostalgia when you look at some of these characters.
Yeah, and free to play as well. That's where they could really kill it with the,
And that's a good and a bad thing, free to play. It's a good and a bad thing because it depends on how the model works and what you get with it. Like, we could have seen all of the characters on screen there and you'd be like, awesome, they all launch immediately. And, wait.
Nah. That's the thing.
You get two.
Yeah, facts. That's the thing. I know the closed beta is up, but I'm not. Like, I saw this, I thought this is a good move. But what do you think, Mike? Are you excited about this?
I can't tell you how excited I am for... No, not really.
I thought you were serious there for a second. I was like, oh.
I mean, this... It's
a game. It's a video game.
This is what happens when you're almost 50 years old and you're still gaming. This kind of stuff just doesn't appeal to me. If I was 20 years younger and a Smash Brothers player, I might, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's some.
It's no Leisure Suit Larry, is what Mike is saying.
No Leisure Suit Larry. And now, if he was, hold on now, because if Leisure Suit Larry was in the game, I'd be day one.
The best thing to see from that entire trailer, however, was Super Saiyan Shaggy.
Super Saiyan Shaggy. That was weird. I thought it'd be good to bring this up, but it's a weird one. Ace, are you definitely buying this, right? Or playing this, right?
I will play it when it features Dick Wingbat. Obviously. Then I will not be able to say no. I'll only say, Dutch, that it's not. I'm not a Smash player myself, but I wouldn't say it's less skill based than other kinds of fighters. I think there's a high level of skill that you can attain in those games. Gaz will know more because you do actually play it. I don't, because Nintendo. But
raw skill hype is raw. Don't even.
Well, exactly. Free to play is a turn off for me. Like, I'm averse to the free to play model in general. So I see that and I think, yeah. There are examples of free-to-play that are done better than others. Halo Infinite multiplayer is not one of those. Yeah, how much have you spent on your free-to-play Apex? Don't
Next
answer.
topic.
It's fine.
I mean, and also
More than the development of Halo.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
You're the reason there's no campaign co-op. That's it.
Are you, man? No, let's not move out this. Don't you dare blame that on me. Oh my god.
Look, if this game,
I'm not the reason. The reason.
I would say, if you know what would make Multiverses into a game that I would absolutely play, is if they got farther away from the Smash Brothers, the Smash Brothers style, and got into a Power Stone style.
Oh wow!
I would so you turn this into like a kind of
a 3D
arena type game, you know.
Yeah.
Then you've got my attention.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. That's a very good shout. How many games like that have you seen? Can't remember. Very good shout. I would buy it. I'd be way more interested.
Yeah, I think it was that and Kung Fu Chaos were like two of the games.
That's exactly what I was thinking as you were talking. I can't think of any other game like that apart from Kung Fu Chaos.
That would be where I go. But unfortunately, looking at the maps and looking at the the gameplay, what you're getting is Smash Brothers. So yeah, there's no time for them to change the game for me.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Aces brought up the Power Stone gameplay there, and and it looks so good. Like with all the in-game, like in-map, events, the submarine and all that stuff. They can do loads of stuff at Looney Tunes. It's a great chat there, Mike, and yeah, I hope that comes back. Danny Passion Official, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Goes, let's go. I am late. It's okay. It's okay. You can capture after the fact, but you missed some sauce. Next topic. Ubisoft Plus comes to PlayStation and PlayStation Plus, and on top of to PlayStation Plus, and on top of that, PlayStation Plus also gets its first suite of back Compat games. Dutch, you're the man of knowledge. Talk to us, sir. What do you think? Because in a week where Xbox is getting raked through the coals with some negative feedback owing to the delayed announcements of 2 games, then PlayStation seemed to have doubled down on its announcements. Ubisoft Plus, which was supposed, people talking about Ubisoft coming to Xbox, but what is this? Is it a big thing? It's a pared down service? I'm hearing all sorts. You tell our views, sir. And what's your view on this?
Mute.
We can't hear you. I think you were thinking for ages. I'm like, what is he thinking about?
No, it's good that they're bringing Ubisoft Classics to the Ubisoft Plus, of course, is going to be a separate sub, much like it is on Xbox. It's identical. I think Ubi Classics will be going to Xbox as well. I don't think that'll be any different. I think we'll see it announced on the showcase or after it or before it, one of the two. But it'll be going there. It is good. I think they one thing that we have to applaud PlayStation when they do things right, and we have to take them down when they do things wrong, like we do with Xbox. They've done 2 things right so far, at least starting to do 2 things right so far over the last kind of month or so, and that is a little bit more focus on some of the backward compatible stuff. Yes, there's going to be a lot of stuff that are locked to certain service subscriptions for backwards compatibility or access to them, etc. One of the bonuses that's come out of it as well in recent weeks is that Siphon Filter, among several other, if not many others, are getting, and these are original PlayStation titles, are getting trophies added to them.
Wicked.
And that's an awesome bonus as well, and that's part of game preservation. It gives people another reason to go out and play these classic games. And something that a lot of people want Xbox to do is, and one of the reasons I didn't go back, so I remember playing Psychonauts years and years and years ago, and I was going to play it again before the new one came out, and I thought, it doesn't have any achievements. Like,
that's a good point.
So if they did that to certain titles, certain old ecosystem titles, then yeah, you'd go back and play them. You've got a reason to add them then to your collection and play some of these older titles again. I think what they need to do going forward, I think PlayStation as well, with some of these back compat things, as well as just the trophy system, is then look at what Xbox have done with their enhancements of backward compatibility titles, with the up-res to 4K and the 60 frame boosts and the HDR, etc. Give that treatment to some of their older titles. Stop, and this is one of the reasons as well that a lot of people kind of skip the PlayStation now, is because it's like streaming a 720p game on a big 4K screen is horrific. It's like, I couldn't think of nothing worse. And when I think if they went and just give a little bit of love and attention, or found a system to be able to give that little bit of shine to some of these older games, that would be awesome. But I think
absolutely,
credit where credit's due. Adding the trophy system's ingenious. It's going to get people to play some of these older games again.
Definitely.
Specifically trophy hunters, and there's a lot of them out there. And of course, adding more of these backwards or previous gen titles in the form of Ubisoft Plus and Classics Collection, it's a good ad for the service, no doubt. And I think having another competing service, i.e. Ubi Plus, on there, and of course, I'm sure they've got EA Play or whatever it is on PlayStation as well. So you've got several subscriptions you can get on there now. It depends on whether or not you would. And this is, again, when Ubi Plus goes on to each service, what that entails, because we know it's probably not going to be the same level of Ubisoft Plus that's on PC, where they've got the premium one, where you get access to everything day and date, or whether or not they do add 2 tiers to the Ubisoft Plus that comes onto consoles.
They are, by the way. I think they've pretty much confirmed that the full premium Ubisoft Plus is coming to consoles.
Oh. In that case, then, well, that then dives onto the, do you want to add this? Because it's not cheap, the premium Ubisoft Plus either. It's not like the original Ubi Plus, I think, is like 15 quid. I think the premium ones maybe 20 plus. You might be able to correct us if I'm wrong there, Asa,
It's
but
like
I'm sure
£14 a month, I think. £13 or £14 a month.
Is that the premium one?
For the premium one, yeah. Which is a lot considering.
That bad. I thought
it is when you consider
one.
most months they give you like some skins for Uno, or a week of like double XP in one of their Tom Clancy games. Like the offerings are shoddy for the amount that you pay. Slim pickings.
Yeah.
So it boils down to, again, who wants to have that service, or who's got the money to be able to just add it regardless, because they don't miss £15 a month. There's going to be a section of people that just add it, and that's fine. But it's good. I'm glad PlayStation's open to the possibility of bringing these services onto their system, and who knows what else they'll add in the future.
I think they're gearing up. I think a lot of people, all the blah blah blah, we can't sustain AAA exclusives and all that. It's just them posturing until they gear up. And I like this. I like this. Sorry.
Real quick, because there's some confusion in chat about what's coming where. So, what are you doing, guys? Carry on. Show those teeth. I'm seeing that ugly Sonic thing that people were talking about. So, Sony announced that Ubisoft Classics or Ubisoft Plus Classics are going to be included in PlayStation Plus, and that's the lower tier of Ubisoft service, which is their older games. So it's the equivalent of the lower tier of EA Play that you can get on consoles. But it's included in PlayStation Plus. We also know that it is included in Xbox in some capacity. What we've seen so far is that those games have been going case by case onto Game Pass. But you can expect pretty much the same offering on both. They've also said in the same blog post that the premium Ubisoft Plus service, which is currently available on PC, Stadia, and Luna, is coming to consoles as well. And hopefully that's one subscription on the Ubisoft end that gives you access on all of those platforms, but time will tell on that. So yes, Ubisoft Plus Classics is coming included in other subscriptions on both platforms. Ubisoft Plus, the full service, day and date games and expansion packs, is also coming as a standalone subscription service to both consoles, as far as we know.
Although in the PS Plus Classics, though, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is in that list.
It's a couple of years old by then.
A little enticement.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people are saying Valhalla came on PlayStation before it came on Xbox, and Xbox has a marketing deal for Valhalla. I think.
Did they?
They did, yeah.
I think they
so.
did, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the whole
they had to
power
at
thing.
launch because they had nothing to launch with.
Yeah. Why'd you say that? Just give me. Why'd you remind me, Dutch? Shout out to 385 people
before
watching.
we can ride the glory, guys.
I know. Hey, that's Dutch. You've actually touched a little bit onto the Source video tomorrow. That's a bit of the monologue. Wow. I should have said that. Why did I say that? No one needed to know that, but you did. Source video is filmed tomorrow. It's bloody crazy. I'm sorry, Xbox fans. But Source has to come for everyone. Flip No Mix, thank you so much for the NOK. What the hell is NOK? What country is that? I need to know that. I'm sorry, I'm just going to NOK currency. Norwegian krona, of course. I'm such a piece of... Shout out to you. I love the fact that everyone from all over the world watches this, man. It's crazy to me, but thank you so much. He says, great show, loving it. Keep up. Keep it up, guys. Cheers. Thank you so much for that. God, I'll tell you why. People say, guys, you can't read. You're a lawyer. You can't read. I can hear my voice play back with this headset, whatever, the Shaw mic. Do you know how hard you have to get used to hearing your voice back?
You do.
You have to get used to it. But I have to force myself because I do the monologues and stuff and hear my voice back. I'm listening to music as I deliver the Source monologue because I have to get into the zone. And
is there
hard.
Do you have a delay when that happens? Are you hearing it?
Yeah, there's a delay. I can hear my voice back every time I talk. So when I'm reading these super chats, I can hear my voice and it's like overriding and my tiny little peanut brain can't comprehend what I'm saying.
I don't know how you do. I can't. I've tried. I can't do that. I don't know how you do that. Yeah, hats off to you, man. That's...
Yeah. What can I do?
It's only fair. You can't inflict it on all of us and not listen yourself. So you deserve to hear your own voice.
You dick. But yeah, thank you. And shout out to Sheriff for becoming a GameOnDaily member. Sheriff also is someone who's been helping with GameOnDaily, just slamming the news out. We're a news aggregation platform. Allow me to plug in the bloody website you're sucking so much money out into. GameOnDaily.com. Everyone just register on it. You can get all the latest news. You can submit your own news. If you have a YouTube channel, just submit that. It's all there, sexy. Look at the website. Tell me it's not sexy. But shout out to Sheriff. I put his link to his Twitter in the chat. He's been very kindly just sharing the news, so shout out to him. Shout out to the Norwegian chap. Sorry for not getting the currency right, but now I know. And I'll forget next week because I still don't know what HRK is. I'm sorry, Games Lord. I asked you 50 times. I always forget because I'm an idiot. Zain Bashir with a $5 super check goes, Sony revealed their marketing deals for this year. Notice Call of Duty wasn't there. Any chance Microsoft bought out the contract to get Modern Warfare 2 day one on Game Pass? See, this is a great point. A lot of people were like, wait, why isn't Call of Duty on there? Because everyone was thinking about that marketing deal was still going. You know, the 5-year thing, Dutch. Dutch, you are a man of lots of knowledge. Talk to us. What's your take on this? Does this mean that the deal that we thought 5 years has come to an end? What's going on here?
I don't know because it could be, and again, this is just me being hypothetical. It could be that they're just being... let's say, kind in a way, in a business sense, and not mentioning Call of Duty and Activision IPs whilst there is an acquisition ongoing, knowing okay, yeah, we've got this, but we're not gonna kind of just talk about it too much because that stuff it might differentiate by the time this deal is completed. We don't know, it's still ongoing, so we're not going to advertise it right this second because on respect for the ongoing acquisition and merger talks. It could just be something to do with that, to be honest. I'm not going to read too much into it as yet.
That's why my position was. I wasn't sure, but maybe there might be something into that.
I think it's until 2024, and you have to look at it even from a financial perspective from Microsoft. Is it worth, when you're going to get the game anyway, is it worth buying out a contract that's until 2024? So a 2-year contract, which is Sony would have paid substantial amounts to get that marketing rights. Is it worth buying that out for the sake of 2 years in Game Pass when your gamers are going to get it anyway. I don't think financially Microsoft are thinking and sitting back and going, yeah, we'll spend what could be 100, 200 million pounds on this exclusivity agreement for what?
Well, maybe they have the foresight to think that, by the way, this is going to be an epic deal. The quicker we pay, we're paying $70 billion, whatever little paltry money it is, let's give them the severance pay or whatever to Sony, because time is of the essence with this deal. So at the grand scheme of 70 billions, whatever they might pay, they're not thinking of Game Pass and recouping the money back. They're just thinking of getting the deal done. I don't know. Great point. It's like, we don't know. Yeah. But it's a great point. Thanks for the super chat there, by the way. And Flip No Mix, thank you, man, for the 25. And okay, love from Norway. The show is fire. No, thank you.
Nice.
I had to compel him to do it. You didn't need to do a super chat, folks, just because I have a lack of knowledge. But I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Thank you so much, man.
Just so you know, I don't think I'm not sure if that means much more than, don't forget that there's no Call of Duty coming in 2023. So if that deal is over in 2024,
oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, there's no Call of Duty coming next year.
I didn't even think of that.
By default, it's not a number of Call of Duties, it's a time frame. So I always thought that was a possibly
connected reason for the reason.
What's the word I'm looking for? A boss move by Microsoft and Activision, talking and going, how do we get around this exclusivity or this?
Oh my! Are you
deal?
Some Sopranos level shit saying that?
I'm going
any games.
I am going conspiracy theory right now.
fully
conspiracy theory. Here it is. Bobby Kotick gets to keep his job by not releasing a Call of Duty next year, so that Microsoft can get him out of the market deal. There it is. Thank you. Man.
Whatever it takes to get Bobby Kotick out, I would be happy. But yeah, no, that's a crazy one. He needs to go.
No, they were talking about that before the acquisition. I just think don't forget that's probably, in all seriousness, that's probably why Sony is not listing them as one of their marketing partners, simply because by the time they get back to making a new Call of Duty, that deal's done.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully. But yeah, so Ubisoft coming to PlayStation Plus actually flexing its muscles. Still a long way to go to really come close to Xbox Game Pass, which is now rumored to have the best, or one of the best, Assassin's Creed games. Which one is that? Trivia time. Fonz is not doing his show anymore.
The game Odyssey,
Two.
Two? I thought it was just Origins.
No, I'm talking about Assassin's Creed 2. You said the best one.
What the No! I thought it was Origins. Yes. Chat! You win. Chat wins. Purple Tree Frog is on the board today. He's like killing it. Origins is the one. And you know what? I think respect PlayStation for going in. Yeah, Origins. I don't even know why. I think 2 is so overrated. I'm sorry. Everyone says
really?
I thought Actually, I'm not going to say what I'm saying.
Overrated. Are you sure you're not thinking of 3? 3 was
no, 2 in Italy, right?
The only thing they needed to do for Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla was just ditch the Animus completely, because they could have done them games without anything to do with the Animus, and it would have been perfectly fine.
Okay. Oh no, it's Alex has finally finished his home renovations. I'm reaching out to you. Finally, this guy's been building a Taj Mahal in his house. Speaking of Taj Mahals, it's Hoggy Channy with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Hoggy. Didn't Sony break the agreement by not marketing Vanguard? Maybe they had an escape clause due to the legal issues ABK was in. Either way, unlikely Sony had a block Game Pass clause in 2015. Yeah, that's true. But what's this about breaking the agreement by not marketing Vanguard? They didn't market Vanguard? I thought they did. Or maybe they didn't.
I don't think they did to a great extent, if they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, no one knew about Vanguard because it looked like shit anyway. But well, I don't know, Hoggy. Food for thought. Definitely.
It's worth mentioning in that agreement, like it's Sony that are paying the money. So the obligation that they'll insist on is that whenever Activision are talking about Call of Duty, they're tying PlayStation to it. not that they have to do the other way around. So they don't necessarily want to talk about what is now a competitor.
Yeah.
But if you see a Call of Duty game spoken about, they'll tie the PlayStation name to it for as long as they've paid for that to happen, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, cool. Microsoft says the Activision Blizzard acquisition is moving fast. On that point, I just want to quickly touch base on that and say, yeah, maybe not. Silent Hill Remake! Silent Hill Remake, finally! Everyone wants this game. I actually want this game. I'm shit scared of those games. They scare the crap out of me, even though the PlayStation 1's graphics just was an excuse for just fog. You could just have full cataracts mode. If you ever played the original Silent Hill moves, this fog was there, but it scared the crap out of me. I think Silent Hill has some of the best, well, worst or best, most scary enemy designs in the history of the franchise. That Pyramid Head thing is, yeah, Pyramid Head is weird. The movie, everyone says there's no good.
One of the best movie adaptations of a game ever.
Finally, someone says it. No one. I find myself the only one saying that. Well, with my friend circle of friends, I'm like, I thought it was brilliant. No shit. I'm like, how's that? I thought you had Resident Evil, for God's sake. That was the competition it had. Even though I enjoyed the first one actually at the time. Silent Hill is coming back. It's coming back. It's actually coming back. Well, it's not officially confirmed, but you've got Grubby, man like Grubb, Jeff Grubb, talking about it, saying Bloober Team is working on it and sounds like it's pretty much done. And I think an IP has been registered or something, blah, blah, blah. What's your thought on it, Dutchy? Talk to us, sir.
Yeah, I heard quite a long time ago. Actually, it was at some point last year. Of one of the people that were originally working on it, and kind of asking him if he wanted to work on it again, etc. And he said they hadn't approached them, and then it was about a month later he said, "Oh, now they've approached us and about it." And it then went really silent, and I was like, "Okay, it might happen, might not happen. Whether or not that's Kojima again is another thing. I don't think it will be this time around.
Yeah."
I think it will be somebody else, but yeah, I mean, I'd be up for it coming back as long as it's done. I mean, even if we have a look at the what it could have been with PT, the playable trailer for what a new Silent Hills could be, and the kind of intensity that put through, it was more like a psychological horror. And you know what it is? I think these days we are missing a good psychological horror game.
Yeah,
there's a lot of, like you say, Resident Evil's went down a whole new path where it's not even recognizable to what it was previously.
Yeah.
And the closest we've got to a psychological horror game in recent years has either been Martha is Dead or The Medium, which are two entirely separate things, and they don't hit on the same mark as that Silent Hill did. And I think if it was in the realms of a PT, where it's kind of building things up, and like you say, I remember going round and round the corridor, and you open and everything changes, and then you start reverse time by going backwards, and it's such a creepy atmosphere. I can't wait for something like that again. Something that where you want to play it, but you don't at the same time. You're like, hell no, I don't want to do it. Nope. I want to give it again. It's been a long time. And
a lot of people
Alien
asking for it.
Isolation's probably the last time we had something that kept you on the edge of your seat.
Definitely did. So did Halo Infinite, but that's for the wrong reasons. I'm like, well, the story's coming. And I saw your game Punisher in the chat. Of course, that's aimed for you. But yeah, no, Silent Hill. We do need a psychological horror game like that. Although I haven't played Martha's Dead. Also, I'm a wuss for that. Also, I haven't played Resident Evil 7 yet. And Dealer is always in party chat with me. Like, what the hell are you doing? I'm sorry, forgive me. I bought it on PC, but I'm too much for a wuss. But I will play it. Mikey, talk to us, sir. Are you a fan of Silent Hill?
I am, and I was hoping that the Medium would get into that, and when it didn't, I was really disappointed. Still a good game. I still enjoyed Medium, but there were so many parts of that game where I was hoping to get that feel. There were plenty of places in that game where it could have turned into a Silent Hill type game. But
Yeah.
so, and there's games that have come and missed the mark. We had Blair Witch, that didn't turn out to be that great. You had, I think it was Martha Must Die, that I watched Wilmy give up on that game really quickly. So yeah, I'm down for something that will make me want to play with the lights on. It's been a long time since we've had a game like that, and it's due. And it would be good. I'm glad that this is one time when I'm glad they're remaking an older game, because the word is that they're making multiple Silent Hill games. And so you have to give gamers that haven't played Silent Hill, the original, to understand, to understand the point. Just please don't make it a zombie game, please. Please.
A zombie game.
Please don't make it. Please don't.
Mystique. I was going to say the mystique around Silent Hills in the first place is that it's based on a real town in America. Did you hear about that? The mining town.
Yeah.
Are you serious? That's based on a real town?
It's a mining town in America where it's not obviously it's not with the monsters and things like that, but the entire underground mining ecosystem in this town had actually caught fire. And continues to burn even now to this day in certain circumstances. So the entire town started to essentially burn step by step, and it was essentially flagged as the Silent Hills of America.
Jeez, that's morbid. That's
have a look at the history of it. It's actually really cool. Like people go to that town to this day as well. It's such a.
I'm not going to that. I'm going to go there knowing my luck, and I'm going to hear that bloody siren that scares the shit out of me. That's the bomb siren. That's probably the most terrifying sound in the history of mankind. That bomb sound siren.
Yeah.
What a genius idea to put that in a game, by the way. And the Silent Hill movies put that to great effect as soon as that came in the skin.
Centralia in Pennsylvania.
Centralia, Pennsylvania. America, man. You Americans, you got some places, man. And I'm talking about Florida. But yes, that's pretty messed up. You're from Florida, aren't you, Mike? Where are you from?
No, I'm not. But
okay, I wish you were. That would be funnier. I think Fonz's moving there. But yeah, this looks weird. The nurses always looked hot, even if you couldn't see their faces. I'm sorry, I'm a weird person.
And they're going to stab you if you get.
Yeah, I have been stabbed by women before. It happens usually in the back. But it won't be any alien. This time they'll be dressed up very nicely. But yeah, before I get cancelled, let me read these super chats. Flame, I knew it. Someone in the chat would be, as a Floridian, we are not that bad, Gaz. I'm just messing with you. There's a meme about Florida. Even Americans think Florida should be cut out the map. I don't know why, but apparently you guys are crazy. I went to Miami, though. That was pretty sick. Oh, it was lit. It was lit there. Hoggy Channy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I'd caution folks who think Kotick is out as soon as the deal is done. Not likely, because Microsoft would then have to contend with the transition plan. Absolutely. Someone needs to run the show. Kotick is a piece of whatever, but they can't. Business is business. You saw Phil Spencer and Kotick sync together. It's the way of the world. Yeah, but yeah, that's a good point, Hoggy. JD Gamer, thank you for the $20 super chat. Very generous. I'm going to be messy too. Nobody but Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo should buy EA, or we're all screwed. If you think FIFA was full of microtransactions, wait till someone who doesn't give a sniff about the game industry buys EA. And that's what I'm worried about, Tencent. I'm not saying they don't give a damn about the game industry, but what I'm saying is they don't give a damn about the game industry. JSD getting stuff done with a $2 super chat. Thank you. He goes, what do you think about Ill, the game? What? Is the game called Ill? I don't know about that game. I have no idea about it. I've never heard of Ill, the game. If it's an indie title, most likely. But if GSD, if you can let us know what's it about in the chat, Splendor first, thank you for the $2 super chat. Hoggy, this is for you and my 8 kids, bro. Happy birthday, guys. What? Why is that for Hoggy? Thank you, Splendor first. Wagwan, bro. I hope you're doing well, man. JD Gamer, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, man. Very generous. Question for the panel: should Microsoft buy Bloober Team and have their own studio that focuses on horror? Imagine Bloober Team's horror imagination aided by the Coalition's graphical and technical prowess.
Or imagine the Coalition's Gears franchise aided by someone that wants to make a horror game.
Chat. Well done. That's right. That's right. Gears needs to do the horror thing.
I have nothing.
Cliffy B.
Oh, Cliffy B. Oh, that's saucy. Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that. Asa just. That's it.
Well, I see some messiness in the chat. But no, Asa, you killed it. That's right. That's a good point. They need to... Yeah. Gears needs to change tact. I know Crispy Bomb is going to hate me saying this, but it does. It needs to be more survival horror. It needs to be more... Like, this is the formula needs to change.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to change, but it definitely...
needs to change.
No. But you can add... You can make...
It needs its horror back. The first one had scenes, like I say, I remember going through the oil refinery section with the wretches and things like that for the first time.
The dark seas with the light and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. You can bring that kind of stuff back and give it a but I can't. Don't make it a survival horror game.
No. Okay, so everyone gets. But then I get DMs from people who's like, "Oh, what you don't know anything about Gears? Why don't you shut the flip up?" I'm like,
all right, hold on. Let me not click. Let me not click send on this. Hold on, Nick.
No, but I've had it from people like, why do you always hate on Gears? I'm not saying some fully survival horror, but I've said this so many times, man, but it basically same Gears, but more tight and harder, not open world and just, to me, a gimmick, more brutal, 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 combat. Right now, you're bullet sponge. Marcus Phoenix gets shot in the face and he just rubs off the bullets like it's nothing. Makes no sense.
I was going to say, but yeah, even if you take it back, because we have to think of the stories and the story arcs that the first 3 Gears had, and you cared about Dom and his wife, and you cared about the story elements and the grit and the down to earth feel of those connections. And the 4 and 5 didn't have those. You don't.
Oh no!
Especially in 5, you made to choose between these 2 characters near the end.
I don't even remember who they are.
I was like, please let me kill both. Just kill them both, please. Why is this not an option?
It's just like L1, R1 together. Imagine shot them both. That'd be hilarious. But no, it's true. The game's story struggled, man. Gears story dog shit. It's so bad. Like, the only time I cared about a character in Gears was for Dom, and when it mattered, the first one, it's the pilot with he was one volunteering. Yeah, what's his name? Carmine. Yeah, and then they kept bringing Carmine or iterations of Carmine back. It's just like, no, it's not the same. They can't do it. They can be serious. They did it with Kate for the start of the Gears 5, and then they forgot about it. And the game needs to change. It needs to change. I don't care. Come at me. I've given you enough ammo to hate me as it is. I'm probably the worst person in the world for it. But it doesn't matter. It has to change. Anyway, I don't know how to go. Digress here, because JD, thank you for the super chat. Generate some chat. But Poxy, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. Time has gone by well quick. Smash the like button, everyone. The show is lit. Happy birthday, Gus. Thanks, Foxy. Roll with a $2 super chat. I wish we could get a first-person Gears. No! What is wrong with you? No one is allowed to think about Gears except me. First-person Gears is the last thing we need. Last thing we need is another bloody Gears. I mean, first-person game. Google ill horror game. I want your opinions. We will do. We'll talk about it. And hopefully in that midweek show, whenever we do it. Not in midweek Dutch. Everyone's going to be stepping on someone's shows. Are you doing my time now, huh? I see how it is. We'll do it in a corner when no one's doing this show. Hopefully Tuesday. You don't do a show on Tuesday anyway, so we're lucky. But you know, so many bloody podcasts. You have this like inevitable. Who do you not step their toes
We
on?
just moved to Tuesday. We just had to.
You might have you and your show. No, it's going to be really early. It's going to be not your time.
Well, that's
vampire.
true. No, that's right. By the
times.
time, that is very true. By the time we come on, you are asleep.
Yeah, it's true. I literally did their show and almost got fired at work the next day. That's how long it went. It went on for ages. So don't worry, we're not overriding with you. So
no.
What is this?
Come on,
look, the game.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to admit that last hour of
It was
the
great.
show was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was great, man. We had so much chat. I loved your show.
did.
We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't love your show. If I was
This is
terrible,
true.
this guy sucks. No,
Right.
I wouldn't. That was great. That was a great show. This game looks really good. Is that in-game engine?
Mm-hmm. Think so.
No,
That-
Unreal Engine 5.
Okay. So Spotify users, if you're listening to, I'll describe the game for you. Currently, there are loads of Silent Hill looking copy and paste NPCs. There's a nurse there. I saw it. It's a first person game called Ill the Game. Very nice of the gentleman to show it, bring that to our attention. We love this, by the way, where there's so many good games there. Clout Games. That's a weird name for a studio, but okay. Nice. Thanks for definitely going to look into that. Yo, I think I've seen this before. I've seen this bit with the double barrel shotgun. Graphics look insane. So many good games out there. Not everyone gets their time of day, man. It's insane. What the flip is that? Okay, I don't remember that thing come crawling out of someone's neck.
Your
That's
audio
pretty
commentary is
messed up.
perfect. Like everyone on Spotify knows exactly what we're seeing right now.
What
the
Spotify
flip?
users, I apologize.
If I'm not wrong, this developer not also creating something called Illness, which is a follow-up to this one. I don't know.
Before the games even come out, they're making a follow-up already. They must be confident. That's pretty sick. But that's a good-looking game. That looks pretty raw. I like that. Thanks for that. Good shout. JD Gamer, thank you for the $5 super stickers. I'm just going to put that out there. How great would it be for Microsoft to bring Hollywood writers in to help their studios with their stories? I don't know. What game?
Didn't they try that once?
Quantum Break this comes to mind. That's like, I don't want any of that. They need to actually have something in their manifesto to deliver story-based games as it is, full stop, let alone, because Microsoft doesn't have to do that, but everyone wants the big single player AAA game, and that's where a good story helps. I do agree.
Yes.
But yeah, let's see. Let's hope they work on that. Rel with a $2 super chat. Marcus, Doom Guy, Master Chief in a first-person battle would be lit. Doom Guy would win with ease, and the old guys pre-Halo Infinite would never say that. But Doom Guy's a classic. Marcus doesn't stand a chance. He's old now and it's irrelevant.
What?
It's not irrelevant, but I don't know. He has.
Let me hand this over to you, because that's just wow.
I don't know. I like Marcus, but yeah, he's dead. Final topic of the day. Just to very quickly round up the news chat. Something crazy happened. The Xbox Series S actually outsold the PS5, all versions of the PS5 in Japan. That's it. Xbox has won this generation. Nothing's gonna happen after that. No, it's the only reason it really surprised me is it goes to show the severity of the stock shortages. They're very bad. But it's also weird to see the fact that the Xbox Series X, okay, here's the numbers out there. Xbox Series X sold 105 units. That's nothing, but still quite a lot for Japan, believe it or not. The Series S sold 6,120 units. 6,120 versus 105 Series X's. I assume there's loads of stock available for the Series X there, because hardly anyone buys those. But the PS5, their stock shortage is so bad that they sold Well, 2,240 PS5 non-digital and 453. So that brings it to around about 2,000, say 800, just to round it up.
Do this way.
That's not a lot. And the Switch, oh my God, this is where Nintendo's problem. They're in a conundrum. The Switch sold a total of 35,868, the normal ones. The organic EL model, then another Switch for 20,443, then there's a Switch Lite for 9,000. So totally, just round it up to about 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000. What the flip? Who's buying these consoles? Switch is selling like mad. Japan is weird. I think that's a lot of Xbox Series S consoles, though. 6,000 in Japan. Why? Why not? Because multi-platform gaming's there, Game Pass is there. Is it making a dent? I don't know. Shut up, Gaz. This is about the guests, not you. Shut up, Dutch. Just lead on with it.
You know what I think and I've seen recently as well, and I don't know whether or not it's because more people are liking these posts, but there seems to be a significant rise in the amount of Japanese gamers that I'm seeing on my timeline purchasing Xboxes. I've never noticed it before, and I've been on Twitter the vast majority of the last generations and going into now, and I've never ever noticed any Japanese gamers speaking about Xbox, let alone posting about Xbox, covering them on social media. YouTubers like VTubers and things playing Xbox games all the time. I've never noticed that, and I think another bonus that they've had specifically this year has been the release of the X screen, which I've also seen a monumental amount of Japanese and Asian gamers picking up for the Xbox Series console. And I think and we've got to think as well about the Japan in general and their living space compared to the rest of the world. It is a very populated country, like hyper-populated. And the actual living spaces that they've got to be in are also far smaller. We're talking about their setups, their living room setups, the space that they've got in order to put these things in. So a console that is almost pretty much the size of your hand, picking that up day one, that's going to play.
How big is your hand?
It's a big hand.
I've got a little girl hand, so I can't really say anything. But
what they say about people with big hands.
Yeah, small dick. No,
I was gonna say they can hold small consoles, but you know.
So that went left field.
It's because I think it's the sheer size of the unit. It's tiny. It's silent. It plays everything they want it to play. Again, you're mentioning Game Pass there, and the fact that with the subscription of Ultimate, they're able to play all these things on their phone. And you've got to think it's in like Japan and specifically Tokyo, etc. Like the mobile network is. Specifically, the Wi-Fi networks and the mobile networks over there are pretty much second to none. They are insane. So playing cloud or being able to play your game on the Xbox and then go outside and then taking it with them to work with a controller and a little clip and playing it on their phone and things like that. It makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. And I think the only takeaway from this really, because obviously if you take out the console or nonsense where people are taking it out of context. We're not saying that Xbox are winning over Japan in a million years because it's never going to happen. But the only context is they're gaining severe ground where they otherwise lost in the previous generation with the Xbox One. They just decimated, went absolutely down. I think at this moment in time, they've sold more units than Xbox One ever did.
They did. Console. They have.
So it's testament to the working with more Asian and Japanese developers going forward. We know they're working with over 200 studios over there at the moment to bring Asian games. There's been a much more of an influx, and it might be harder to find, but much more of an influx of a lot of Asian games on the marketplace as well. Like you can even find yourself a lot of these little indie horror games and things. So I think it's only going to continue. I think word of mouth spreads. When you have a look at and you have to obviously translate every one of them, but if you have a look at when these new people that are picking up Xboxes over there are speaking, they talk to each other very civilly because it's none of this console war stuff. And they're like, okay, so what did you get with that? And what did you get with it? And they're all talking about every one of them mentions Game Pass. Every single one of them that buys a console mentions Game Pass.
Yeah.
So it's word of mouth. Okay, how much did you pay for that? Only this. Oh, that's not much.
Mate, you're hitting the nail on the head. This time where PlayStation is quite evidently struggling really bad. It had to buy its stock back because it's struggling and pared down as profits weren't as high as they projected because of this. Xbox, if you have any brains, boom, just go and literally market the crap out of Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series S, and there you need to go
it's
and
public
go.
perception over there. All of it is public perception. If they can get that public perception, it's not for units. They have got the units to provide to the Japanese market. The Japanese retailers do not want to stock them, and that has been the issue. Like the vast majority of Japanese and Asian retailers just don't want to stock the console. So when they do find them they sell, and they don't sell in great numbers because a lot of them don't want to. They're kind of reluctant to bring a Western a Western kit into this store. So to change that narrative, and it's not going to be overnight, but to change it via consumer word of mouth, which is what's happening now, is something that needs to be talked about and congratulated, because it's going to be hard work, but it's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Mike, to be a force, the gaming force that Xbox wants Game Pass and its console to be, it needs to break into the Asian market. Now, what's your take on this? Do you think it's significant? Do you expect this to continue, this kind of sales surge?
It is significant because this is the first time Microsoft has always talked about going into Japan and into Asia and competing, but then they never do. They never really do. They tried in the Xbox kind of 360 era, with
Lost Odyssey.
Right, those games and stuff like that. But they never took that and ran with it. If something doesn't, and Microsoft still has this problem that they need to get over, is that if something is not immediately successful, that they've got to stop just dropping it on the ground and walking away and trying something else. They need to, there needed to be a Lost Odyssey 2, right? There needed to be
a Lost Odyssey 2, man.
Right. That and the fact that there wasn't, those gamers over there need, like we do, like any gamers, they need to feel like the companies they're investing in hardware in are not only paying attention to them, but are going to be loyal to them, right?
Yeah, the long run, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's how that loyalty comes back and forth. Say what you want about Sony and Jim Ryan and all these things, but Sony is very loyal to their fan base. They give them the games that they want, and that is built up over 30 years. Microsoft is now starting to give the Japanese market what they want, and Game Pass is a way for those gamers to get an easy look at that without having to spend a lot of money to do it. Combined with the fact that the Series S, Dutch is 1000% correct. That thing is smaller than the X. I tend to think that even the X seems to be like too big and bulky for the Japanese market, but that S is just a little thing, and you can put that very easily right up next to the TV, and takes very little space, and doesn't need discs and doesn't need a whole lot of nonsense. You fire it up, you play some games, and that's something that I was looking across the list of games in Game Pass that launched when it launched in Japan, and I mean they launched with stuff like Ace Combat 7. They launched with with a number of Japanese specific games. They launched with Killer Instinct. They launched with Ninja Gaiden 2. They're bringing people, Silence the Whispered World. Those are things that they want to play. And then you get a chance to play some of the things that are Western based, and that may grab you a game here and there that they might not have seen. Yakuza 0 launched in day one, and so you give them something to take a look at. Battle Chasers Night War. Okay, that's great, but look, there's also Devil May Cry is in there. Fallout's in there. I've never played a Fallout game. What's this all about? I keep hearing about over in the West. So they get a chance to try that. It gives them a good entry point
into that ecosystem. And it shows them that for once, Microsoft truly is trying to play in that space. And Phil doesn't appear to be quickly walking away from it. I mean, dude showed up at Tokyo Game Show. Nobody from Microsoft ever shows up at Tokyo Game Show. He's done that consistently.
That is where they are. So I think that they are. I think that they're seeing some success. You're right. That is still Nintendo and Sony land. It will never be Microsoft's turf to defend. They will always be far behind, but being far behind over there does not mean the same as it does being far behind there 25, 30 years ago. It's not the same. They're not the dominant market. The United States, North America and Europe are the two dominant markets, where back in the Genesis days, back in the Nintendo days, the Famicom days, Japan was the dominant market. That's where, consider this. Consoles and services, with the exception of PlayStation Plus's new tiers, launch in North America and Europe first, and then launch in Japan. When's the last time a console launched in Japan before it launched in the United States or in the UK?
Long time.
It's been a long time.
I remember watching that documentary on the. Actually, that wasn't it. It was a Netflix documentary on the video games, and they were showing about how the Famicom and gaming started in Japan, and the US, it just took over by storm, and they were literally, Japan was this force. But I do I don't take issue with that. Actually, I do agree with you. But I think if, based on what Dutch is saying, if Xbox can consistently really put pressure on, it can possibly one day be up to be a force in that turf if it continues to deliver. Right now it sounds unconscionable, but in this industry, I'm not surprised.
It would be a huge success for Microsoft if they can get into, should we say, lifetime sales for the series consoles of 1 million, 2 million units. I think that would be what they would class as success in the Asian market in comparison to anything else. Now, that doesn't sound like a great deal, but when you're considering the fact that the last gen, they barely scraped like 150, 200,000 units sold across a 7-8 year generation, whatever it was. Going from that to now, where it's 2 years in, they've already pretty much outsold the entire Xbox One generation. It's massive gains. I think you've got to look at the small things. You've got to look at it step by step. If we can make even a small dent in this market, even if PlayStation are getting 20, 30 million units sold in Japan, whatever it is, if we can get 2 million, that's a win. That's a win for Xbox, because it's starting to get that foothold back in Japan that they never had. Or lost due to their own, like Mike mentioned previous, lost due to the fact that they had something and didn't continue with it.
And that annoys me, and Microsoft cannot afford to do that. Consistency is key. Asa, as you stretch there, I want to get your thoughts on this. Can Xbox turn the tide? Has it turned the tide? No, it hasn't turned the tide, but this is significant. Yes, no, talk to me.
You know my thoughts. I don't give a shit. The sale is far away. No, but it's difficult because I don't care. I grew up on Japanese games, right? And I still play them a lot. I like a lot of Japanese games. I just do. And I don't care if they come to Xbox or not. Like, it would be nice if they're on Game Pass, of course it would. But Xbox, 6,000 is good for them in a week where Switch sold 60,000. Like, it's almost more interesting to see like how well PlayStation can still compete in Japan when you look at numbers. Because even if they were in stock, could they compete with the Switch? Is any Japanese developer, their own audience clearly doesn't care about power. They sold 105 Series X's and 6,000 Series S and a whole load of Switch. So their own audience don't care for high fidelity graphics. If you're a Japanese developer and you've got a great idea for a game, right now you're putting that on the Switch. So I don't care what Xbox do over there.
I think it's important, Asa. In fact, the Switch is the reason why, based on what I was listening to Dutch say about, the internet, the infrastructure, the whole move of playing Game Pass Ultimate on your mobile. Like Series S is an extension of that mobile play.
Are you seeing a future though where you're getting all the mainstream Japanese games? Is that what you're after? That you want the mainstream Japanese games to come onto the Xbox ecosystem?
And I think that would potentially end up being that way. I think the lure, for these 200 plus developers in Japan isn't just developing for their own market now. I think it's Microsoft saying to them, listen, we're going to give you access to this much wider ecosystem. So yes, you're developing for your own market, and hopefully that kicks off well and rightfully so to you. But if Microsoft is saying to them, yeah, we're also going to bring your games to the entire Western market as well, I think Japanese developers will be like, yes. So we'll bring out all of these crazy new games that we've never seen before in the Western market. And that's what PlayStation have done, and why it's been so much favored for the Japanese market. It's because you get a lot of these Japanese titles, the likes of the Personas and things like that have been out before, and the Lost Judgments and things that did so well there that came out to Western markets.
I would like to see this world that you're envisioning, but then even Sony shut down their Japan studio.
They did, but
because they churned out shit games. Well, actually, I thought Gravity Rush was good.
Gravity Rush was. I enjoy Gravity Rush more than I should have. But didn't they?
No, Gravity Rush was a good game.
Yeah,
I played a bit of it.
There's a little bit of craziness going on in the chat, and there's one thing I wanted to. There's something that always bothers me is this notion that the only reason that people bought the Xbox Series S over there is because there was no PlayStation 5s on the shelf. Okay, so I want to take that to very quickly. That should speak volumes then about what Sony is doing over there, because I remember a PlayStation that people would wait for. So if you're not waiting for a PlayStation 5 and just jumping in and going, well, there's no PlayStation 5s here, but there's a Series S here. If the market didn't want it, the market wouldn't buy it. That's the only thing that gets me, is that don't discount the fact that Microsoft is trying to put an attractive product on the shelf. Yes, it will always play. It will that market will always play to PlayStation's strength, to Nintendo's strength. No one is suggesting that Microsoft's going to be the number one console manufacturer in Japan. That's not it. But I don't buy into the fact that the only reason that it's selling is because it's the only thing on shelves.
It's actually worse than that.
You still have to want it. You still have to want it.
Not even that. Not even that, Mike. You're absolutely spot on. Not only do they not only want to have it, but it's Japan. They have to fight to justify it. They go to the school and you're like, what do you buy? Series X? They're gonna punch you in the face like, you piece of what the hell? We are very smart individuals here. We do not like poor spending habits. No, you're right, Mike. It's obviously it's not just the vacuum that PlayStation left. It's the fact that someone went out to buy an Xbox and they wanted it.
And they want it, right?
They want it. There was when the Xbox One was launching, they did a documentary. There was a line for people who were waiting. Everyone thought there's loads of people. It was actually photoshopped from people from Forza sat there. And then they went around and go, are you going to buy an Xbox? And the kid was like, what's an Xbox? That was the response we were getting. It's changing. Right, Mike.
If you look at the way, and remember too that now we're in a mode where consoles launch at the same time. But you know, Sega had issues too in this realm where people, once you had the Dreamcast, you had this wonderful system, this great, still my goat, my 100% goat system ever made. But as soon as Sony announced the PlayStation 2, sales for the Dreamcast dropped off a cliff because the market was like, nope, we are going to hold for that entire year until the PlayStation 2 comes out.
I saw that.
That's the point that I'm trying to get at. I am not trying to make a console war argument on this. I'm simply saying that you can't just say you can't just say, well, it's the only thing out there. I mean, if that was you can't. You have to want it. And gamers who want it will wait for it. They've waited for that for Sony for so long. So now it's just you're putting a compelling product out there that now some gamers want to try. And they're going to experiment with this and see if it works. Once PlayStation 5s are back in stock in Japan, you're going to see the norm, right? You're going to see high sales. You're going to see it outsell the Xbox brand in the clip that you've always seen it. That's not the suggestion. The suggestion is that you're going to see Xbox sales increase because there is a section of that market that wants to now see it and wants to see the strides. And don't discount also the fact that Microsoft's global presence since moving from Steve Ballmer to Satya Nadella has also played a little bit of a role in, what have we always heard, gentlemen? That Microsoft's an American company, that Microsoft is a US-based company. They don't care about anything but US. Satya Nadella comes in with their entire product line from Windows to Office to Xbox and has turned Microsoft into a global brand. That does start to play in those places where they've always been looked at as just an American brand.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree with you. And it's showing. And it's starting to stretch its legs. So it's very exciting to see. Even if it's like a temporary blip, I think Xbox need to push that. 6,000 is more than enough an incentive to let's get our act together. And you're right. Both of you gents hit the nail on the head there. And Spencer makes regular trips, not just because he enjoys the karaage chicken, great food, but also because he's there for a reason. Xbox needs it. Game Pass needs Japan. So let's see what happens. Yeah. JD Gamer with a $5 super chat. What happens to Xbox numbers if Microsoft releases a portable Xbox Series system in Japan? How many units do they sell then? Good question. But with cloud, and that's what they're angling. Yeah. They'll argue they don't need it. But their bloody internet speeds are faster than a hard drive write speeds, man. They could probably stream it in better visual fidelity than a raw hardware. They obviously can't. I'm just joking, but their internet is fast. Jeez, it's super fast. What's the average speed in Japan? Someone what's the average speed of upload and download speeds there? Because I'm sure it's crazy. JD Gamer with a $5 super chat. Again, thank you so much. He goes, where are Sony's multiplayer games at? I've been begging for a decent first-party, first-person shooter for almost 10 years. They ain't loyal. We just give them a pass. Who's we? I don't give them a pass. I've been ripping into their first-party FPS attempts since Haze, although that's not first-party, that's Ubisoft. But then there was Killzone, and then there was Resistance, and I know people like those games because they have taste. Halo was king, but they need to deliver. Bungie's now multi-platform. But JD, you're right. Just like Xbox has a horrible single-player AAA exclusive problem, so does Sony with its first-party FPS's problem. In fact, actually, that problem is even worse because the market loves first-person shooters, right, for monetization. That's why they're investing in 10 live service games. How many do you want to bet are first-person?
How about you 10 or whatever number you just made up?
10! What did I say? 10? Oh, sorry. Asa, is my chat? Can you read my chat? I just typed in random words.
You said Dragon Ball Z.
What did I say? Dragon Ball what?
No, that's a
Z.
name.
No, see, he had to go with me for saying Dragon Ball Z. Because I said it.
No,
I
Gaz,
said
no.
Z as a Z, like Americans do, because we in the UK said Z. He just said it Z there. That's it. Enough. No.
I don't even need to like refute this. Everyone knows you're wrong and being silly.
Tam, thanks for that. Yeah. I was just like, wait a minute. I was talking to someone. I was like, hey, Asa made fun of me because I spend so much time. I have so many American friends. I say things in American way. I said something else in American way. I was like, Asa made fun of me for doing this. And she goes, and then she said, what about Dragon Ball Z? Would he say Z? I was like, eureka moment. I have to call him out for that.
That's like names, though. It's the name of a program. You can't say a name wrong. But a key, Control and Z, you're not having that. Control and Z.
It was a futile attempt, but I enjoyed it. Morgan Chatty with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Because Japan isn't enough. PlayStation took over the global market with PlayStation 4. 95% of its share of AAA game space. It was a massive failure for Nintendo, but more so for Xbox. Nintendo put out a better console. Xbox market across the globe. What am I reading? Sorry, I clearly misread that. Japan isn't enough, but PlayStation took over the global market is what he's saying. But it was a massive failure for Nintendo. How? What do I mean? What does he mean by that? Am I reading that wrong? Why was it a massive failure for Nintendo when Nintendo put out a better console?
Was Nintendo's foothold not much stronger or at least going into the last generation? And then PlayStation have kind of taken a lot of the foothold out of Nintendo coming into the generation now.
Yeah, I could see that, especially riding off the failure of the Wii U.
Yeah. Is that what he's referring to, the Wii U failure?
Okay. Yeah. And then the Switch has come out and it's absolutely dominated it again. So, but PlayStation had captured a lot of that market in Japan because of the severe failure of the Wii.
Oh, I see. No, you're right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know. I thought you might be referring to the Wii U. Victor Alistine, thank you for the $2 super chat. What happens when Series S is shrunk to a handheld? No one's shrinking the damn thing. It's already small. It's like a book or bloody Wandering Duchess hands. Don't get slapped by that. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a tiny hand. But I was going to say, like, you don't need. But everyone's been espousing about the handheld. Does Xbox need a handheld? Maybe it would do well. What do I know? But it seems like Game Pass Ultimate and streaming is the future. I still need to do Hargit's video. He's going to kill me. I just need some time. But yeah, shout out to 300 plus people still watching. I hope you had a good time. It has been a lot of fun. Loads of very great takes from these gents. Both of you killed it as I expected. Thank you so much for the chat. All of you. Very generous donations from all of you. Every single one. Thank you so much. Before we go, we have to say goodbye to these gents. Wandering Dutch with your French flag in the background. Your eyes are screaming at me. It was absolutely lovely, as always, to have you on, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good time. Tell our people where they can find the Dutch master.
Yes, great time as always. I'll get you back for that slander for my Dutch nationals. But no, it's absolutely awesome. Again, as always a pleasure being here, and being part of the source is always a good time, good fun. Mike, it's several times with you yourself podcasting now, so it's a pleasure as always to podcast with yourself, brother. And Asa, of course, I love your more now not giving a shit moments. Like they're becoming more frequent as time goes on, and I love it.
It's gonna go later. I'm gonna get more sensible.
He was like this fountain of knowledge with in-depth discussions. Now he's like, I don't give a shit.
Sometimes it's not the worst. It's not the worst position to have, you know.
That's true.
No, it's always a pleasure. It's been a blast as always. Yes, you can find me as always on Wandering Dutch everywhere. Home of the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, of course, which is live every Wednesday and on the weekend on Sundays for the weekend edition with myself and General C. But yes, that's everything. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for clocking Ace's increasing senility. It's happening. Sooner or later, I'm going to become more sensible, and Ace is going to be the crazy one. But yeah, well done.
Treadmill, I think.
Yeah, he's going crazy. When you buy that, something's going wrong. Your wife must think, "What the hell is that?" Because if I brought that home, geez. But yeah, shout out to you, Dutch, and man, it was absolute pleasure. Last but certainly not least, Mike, how was your debut in the realm of the? So I was gonna say the Lords. I'm not Iron Lord. The copyright infringement right there.
Yes, I hear your phone going off now.
Yeah.
This has been fantastic. I have had a great time. I always love when I can look down at the clock and go, oh no, it's been 2.5 hours and I'm lost in time. You guys have been, it's been a fantastic afternoon talking games. Gaz, there's no universe in which you could become the sensible one.
There's a multiverse that exists. The Sauceverse, and in other Sauceverses, you being the sensible one, your videos are more Downtown Abbey. Downtown Abbey, what the fuck?
Oh my god! No, this has been absolutely wonderful. And Dutch, it's always a pleasure. We've got to. I keep telling Peter, I'm like, it's time to invite Dutch officially over to get on. I'm leaving that to him because I know he's a big fan of yours. I'm a big fan of yours as well. So I'm leaving it to him to officially invite you, but unofficially, anytime you want to come on, of course. Now I just need you to follow me on Twitter because that's the only thing you haven't done yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Just shame him publicly.
Shame me.
I've even done the trick where I've unfollowed you and refollowed you to get you the notification to see it.
Soon you'll be stealing strands of your hair, building.
There we go. And Asa, it's always a pleasure. I love when I do get a chance to listen and some of my favorite times of watching the show are when technical difficulties hit Gaz and you have to take over.
Usually there's like me going out on night out.
Yeah,
it's the one.
So, you guys can all find me on Twitter. It's NLG Mullis. The original Next Level Gaming, we are on Tuesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, way, way, way past everybody else's bedtime here. But we, myself, Peter Hutink, HTK 360 was in the chat today. Fastback, my brother Chris, we have a great time talking games and just stuff like this, and having fun and trying to stay positive. It is crazy.
Out in the streets.
We were laughing at this, the Civil War talk that was on Twitter this week, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So. We play everything. We love gaming. Dude, I'm getting ready to put out an Atari VCS video, for God's sakes. If it's gaming, I enjoy it. Come hang out, with us, and we try to have some fun. So thank you, chat. You guys have all been great too.
Yeah, been lovely, chat. Everyone in chat, I've seen you warring. You see how little moderation we did there? Because I like that.
Yeah.
Just let the fun.
Yep, and Xbox, you can find me on Stinger NLG, STINGER NLG. On PlayStation, it is the original NLG, because for some reason the word Stinger is banned on PlayStation. I kid you not. I called them. I'm like, how could you not let me have my name? And they're like, I'm sorry, it's in the database of words you can't use. Well, I didn't know this, so I'm the original NLG on PlayStation.
But yeah. So definitely add Mike. I'm glad you had a good time. Both of you.
I had a great time. I really did.
Both of you. I'm glad. That's the main thing. Everyone in chat and if you guys enjoyed it, that's great. Asa, do you enjoy anything?
There was this one moment where you tried to do a Dragon Ball Z trap, and I walked right into it, and I'm going to be bitter and resentful for that. It's still wrong, but yeah. So, really great to meet Mike. I've not spoken to Mike before, so pleasure to have you on, and Wandering Dutch, of course, as well. Both managing to provide good points on the topics that I didn't care for. Like I said, that did me a favour. I didn't need to talk about Japanese sales because you two nailed it, and that was fine. Chat, people that are here every week, massively appreciate you all, and the people that have come by for the first time, thank you very much. I hope you come back. Gaz, you're a dick. And I'm going to be not in the good like wingback kind of way either, by the way.
Well, that's a good way, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be carrying on my treadmill, which, by the way, my wife actually bought for me. So that's a thing.
Wow,
so, very supportive of my silly antics, where I throw corpses off bridges on Skyrim for hours on end. It's so much fun. I'll be doing that on Twitch again. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Wait till Starfield comes out and you can throw them Skyrim style out of your ship.
Microsoft own them now. There'll be no VR for Starfield. Bloody Phil sponsor. Can't even get VR in my Forza Horizon.
Very true.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah, they need to sort that out. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Chat. I promise. Oh, I didn't promise, but I want to make a video a week, a Source video a week. But the scope creep happens. The next Source video is going to be certified insane. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the show. Share it out. If you didn't enjoy it, just do whatever you want to do. Thank you so much. See you next week. Check out GameOnDaily.com or hit the dislike if you want. Try not to, but we'll see you next week. Take care. Peace out.